at Campbell. Even the gym is named for them. Superintendent Chris Ragsdale says he reviewed what happened.
That review has now resulted in an investigation.
Ragsdale says he'll report back when the probe is done. Steve Summers, 95.5 WSB.
Trump administration lawyers are expected in federal court today. The judge wants answers on why his order to halt deportation flights of immigrant gang members to Venezuela was ignored.
The judge is blasting the latest filing by the Justice Department as woefully insufficient. Lawyers for some of the men deny their clients are in the gang, claiming they were singled out because of their tattoos.
Correspondent Andrew Dimbert says President Trump is accusing the judge of trying to usurp his power. A status hearing today is set for this morning in an Athens courtroom as lawyers for the man convicted of killing nursing student Laken Riley seek a new trial. The same judge who found Jose Ibarra guilty and sentenced him to life for the crime is presiding over today's hearing. Ibarra's attorneys say the verdict in Judge Patrick Haggard's bench trial last fall is contrary to the evidence in the case. Riley was killed while jogging on the UGA campus in February of last year. As President Trump signs an order dismantling the Department of Education, Georgia leaders are weighing the potential impact.
State School Superintendent Richard Wood says he doesn't expect there to be serious impacts to Georgia schools from the closure because so much of the education funding is done on the state level.
At this time, I don't really see much disruption. Unless it came in the area of discretionary funds, that would be something, again, that could change some of the funding structures.
But Lisa Morgan, president of the Georgia Association of Educators, condemns the closure and says elected officials should prioritize students' futures and strengthen public schools. From the state capitol, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Where is Clementine? That is what the owners of Thomas Family Farms in Tucker want to know. Megan Thomas believes the 2-year-old goat was taken last weekend. The behavior of a sheep named Goose was a telltale sign something was wrong.
Her protector was crying. We knew there was something not right because he was pounding his hoof and he was bellowing. We just knew.
She tells Channel 2 Action News they're hoping the kidnappers will have a change of heart and bring Clementine back. She's even offering eggs in exchange. Marijuana use continues to rise as more and more states legalize recreational consumption, but a new study warns those who partake may be at a higher risk for heart attack.
Data on more than 4.6 million people shows that young marijuana users are 6 times more likely to suffer a heart attack than those who abstain. Researchers say cannabis may affect heart rhythm and raise oxygen demand in the heart muscle, even in people under 50 years old.
Jim Ryan says the research was compiled over a 3-year period, the findings appearing in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology. It is 9:03. The Mark Arum Show begins in less than 2 minutes. But first, it's time for live team coverage of traffic and weather together. Triple Team Traffic with Ashley Fresca.
Thank you, Graham. We still have some volume picking up through Stockbridge as you make your way south on I-75. It's heaviest down from Highway 138 until you get to Hudson Bridge. Northbound ride doing just fine. And heads up through the Decatur area. Big delays on Scott Boulevard in both directions. Crash blocking most of the intersection with Claremont Avenue. Updating 285, it's Andrew Seco.
Seeing a tiny bit of volume, 285 north, the outer loop, leaving Clarkston. You're seeing the little bit of brake lights from Highway 78 just past La Vista Road, exit 37. Elsewhere, things working well around Atlanta's bypass. Speed limit conditions around most of 285. Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly sunny and cool today, high 63.
It is 38 degrees in Union City, 37 degrees in Woodstock, and 38 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 9:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
Big sigh of relief, friends. We made it to Friday. Welcome to the Mark Arum Show. So much to talk about today. We've got that big Venezuelan deportation case, 10 a.m. hearing set there. We'll preview that. What is left of anything of the Department of Education? We will go in depth. Got great news. We got political analyst Stephen Lawson is going to join us live in studio at 10:35, breaking down Governor Kemp's push under the Gold Dome for tort reform. Paul Guilfoyle, an amazing actor, CSI. You've seen him in a bunch of stuff. He's going to join us live at 10:50. I want to start, though, with the breaking news you just heard there from Graham Carroll. The busiest airport in Europe shut down right now.
I've called Delta, and all the lines are busy, so they're not answering. I just called American Express Travel to see if they can help. I'm waiting. All the lines are busy.
Unbelievable situation. London's Heathrow Airport completely shut down because of a power outage. due to a large fire nearby causing massive disruption at one of the world's busiest travel hubs. Fire now mostly under control, but Heathrow's backup power supply also affected. Already 1,300 flights have been canceled heading to Heathrow there in London, including 4 here in Metro Atlanta. So apparently there are 4 daily flights from Atlanta to Heathrow, 26 for the week. A total of 13 flights from Atlanta to Heathrow have been canceled. So I imagine some last night, some today, and some tomorrow shut down. And the cause of this is still under question, but we got some new information in the last couple of hours, maybe something nefarious. Nada Basir's at Heathrow this morning.
New information from the Metropolitan Police, which has, of course, been looking at the investigation into what caused this fire at the substation just near Heathrow. This just coming in now that the Met's Counter-Terrorism Command is now leading inquiries, given the location of the substation and the incident, the impact of the incident that it has had on Heathrow Airport, of course, Europe's busiest airport. So this is a significant development that the Counter-Terrorism Command is now leading on that inquiry. There have, of course, been many questions mounting as to what caused the fire. The impact has been hugely significant. As you mentioned, hundreds of flights now either cancelled or diverted, thousands of passengers impacted by this. Heathrow Airport now brought to a standstill. We're just, by the time I'm here, no flights coming in or out today. So a huge impact. Take a listen to what the Deputy Commissioner of the London Fire Brigade had to say a little earlier in a press conference.
The fire involved a transformer comprising of 25,000 litres of cooling oil fully alight. This created a major hazard due to the still live high voltage equipment and the nature of the oil-fuelled fire.
Now, of course, we've seen that dramatic videos coming in overnight of the huge flames which engulfed the substation in Hayes, just about 4 miles from Heathrow Airport. Important to note that this is also a residential area. Some of those residents nearby were forced to evacuate as well as a precaution, though no injuries have been reported. And while the area has been cordoned off, it has largely been cleared as safe for residents. We've heard from fire officials who have said that they do not expect any impact for local residents. But as you mentioned, John, the impact is being felt worldwide. Europe's busiest airport brought to a standstill. Thousands of passengers impacted. We're seeing many flights diverted, with passengers telling us that they haven't been provided with any information as to how they can get home, with a lot of uncertainty as to where these flights are heading. And of course, we've seen some airlines now putting in emergency and precautionary measures as a result. Heathrow Airport is set to remain closed for the duration of Friday, but officials have also warned there will be significant disruption over the coming days. So it remains to be seen whether or not we do see Heathrow Airport back up and operational over the weekend.
That's Nada Bashir outside of Heathrow this morning. Again, the headline is now the Counter-Terrorism Police are leading the investigation. Now, there's no indication, they say, of foul play yet or terrorism, but it's such an important piece of the European infrastructure that Counter-Terrorism Police now heading the investigation. Now, this is going to impact not just flights from Atlanta to London, but Atlanta to anywhere in Europe. This is going to be a massive travel disruption. We've reached out to travel expert Peter Greenberg, try to get him on and give us some perspective on what this could mean to Atlanta travelers. And it could really gum up the works for a lot of flights in and out of Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. So we're going to continue to monitor that. Again, the Counter-Terrorism Police are now heading the investigation, which is never really a good sign that this could be some sort of a terrorist act there at the busiest airport in Europe. I personally have never been to Heathrow. I've never been to England. Deborah, I'm assuming at some point in your world travels, you've at least had a layover in Heathrow. What can you tell us about Heathrow Airport?
Oh, yeah. I've been to Heathrow, probably 6 or 7 times in my travels to Europe, to England, and connecting to places like Germany or Portugal or anything like that. Yeah, you're saying it's like Hartsfield-Jackson. It is. It's a big hub. It's one of the bigger airports. There's Gatwick, but most people are going to fly in and out of Heathrow. And it being shut down for, a day now, that's a huge impact on everyone around there. And our coworker is in England right now, so I reached out to see if he's affected by this shutdown.
English Nick.
Yeah, English Nick.
All right, yeah, appropriately named English Nick. All right, so we'll try to get Nick on. We'll try to get travel expert Peter Greenberg on, but obviously a still developing story there. What's crazy about this story, Deborah, is that flights were heading to Heathrow in the overnight hours. So CNN's foreign correspondent, I'm blanking on his name. He's the British guy who talks really loud. I forgot his name. Anyway, he was on a flight from Brazil to Heathrow when they shut the airport down, and like over the ocean. And instead of continuing on to Europe and landing at another airport, they turned around, and he's back in Brazil right now, which is, that would be crazy. Imagine you're, 7 hours into a flight, and then they're like, oh, we got to turn around and head back. But still, no, I can't remember his name. Doesn't matter. Anyway, big story there. We're going to reach out to English Nick, who's in England, and we're going to reach out to Peter Greenberg. We've already reached out to Peter Greenberg, try to get him on to give us the latest on this breaking news. Could be a bigger story than it is right now. The counterterrorism police heading up the investigation on this still developing situation. All right, we have a massive court appearance at 10 a.m., court decision, court ruling at 10 a.m. regarding that Venezuela migration flight. And the judge who has drawn ire from President Trump and the Trump administration, Stephen Portnoy from ABC, is going to give us a preview of what we might expect to see at that 10 a.m. court hearing. Social media is active throughout the broadcast at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
Get the WSB Radio app.
This story is breaking right now.
Get notifications from your source for news.
If you have the WSB Radio app, then you saw the breaking news.
Get the
WSB Radio
app. Don't miss a thing with the WSB app.
Download it from the App Store today.
Buckle up, friends. I've got a jaw-dropping deal from my pals at Reliable. Hey, it's Mark Arum here. Check this out, folks. You can get a free furnace with the purchase of a qualifying air conditioner. Unbelievable. Get your free consultation by going to ReliableAir.com. That's ReliableAir.com. And check it out. Next day installation guarantee, or they pay you $500. Free furnace with a purchase of a qualifying air conditioner. ReliableAir.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in, we'll work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, could be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Go to carsforkids.org today.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90NATION.
9:17 on the Mark Arum Show, checking Friday residual delays on them freeways. Live with the latest, Ashley Frasca.
Seeing a slow spot develop through Cartersville on 75 South, trying to get past Highway 113. That's exit 288. Otherwise, Cobb County moving fine down to Windy Hill, and still have some backups in Decatur because of a crash, and car went off the road, blocking most of the intersection of Scott Boulevard at Claremont Avenue. Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Market, where you can experience the flavors of Latin America with deals on vibrant ingredients and zesty creations. Store-wide, save on no antibiotics ever, meat, fresh avocados, and more through March 25th. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
In a few moments, I will sign an executive order to begin eliminating the Federal Department of Education once and for all.
President Trump in the Oval yesterday. What is left, if anything, of the Department of Education still to come? Correspondent Rory O'Neill is going to break down what Trump's executive order did yesterday and what the president foresees as the future of the Department of Education. Speaking of President Trump, his lawyers are going to be in a courtroom in about 42 minutes. It's this Venezuelan immigration deportation case. Covering this story from ABC News and joining us on the Mark Arum Show is Stephen Portnoy. Stephen, good morning. This case is, got a lot of air. It sucked a lot of air out of the room when it comes to the news cycle. A lot of stories about it, a lot of talk about it. But I think a lot of listeners might not know exactly what this case is all about. Can you help us out a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, this is about the Trump administration's efforts to try to get members of Tren de Aragua out of the country as soon as possible. What the president has done is he's invoked a 1798 law, the Alien Enemies Act, which says, and you can look it up, 50 U.S.C. 21, if you're inclined, it says that at a time of war or invasion by a foreign government or nation, the president can remove alien enemies from the country. And he's decided that the United States is at war with Tren de Aragua, or that Tren de Aragua is invading the United States, and that Tren de Aragua is a stand-in for the Venezuelan government, and therefore he can use this authority to swiftly deport alleged members of the gang without due process, without going through the regular immigration situation where you have to stand before an immigration judge and the judge has to determine that you are not admissible to the country and you should be deported. That's typically how deportations work. And the president is running right past that with this proclamation that he's signed. Advocates for the migrants have gone into federal court here in Washington to say this is not legal, that there is no war between the U.S. and Venezuela. The Tren de Aragua is not the government of Venezuela, as the law requires. And by the way, some of these people who have wound up on these deportation flights from Texas to El Salvador, which is not where they're from, aren't even members of the gang. And that's the sworn statement that at least one or at least five of these lawyers have put forward on behalf of their clients. One of these we reported yesterday. The attorney claims that this man is a professional soccer player in Venezuela who was tortured in Venezuela after he protested the Maduro regime, came to the United States border after spending several months in Mexico waiting, applying on the CPB One app last year, was given the appointment, showed up to make his case. They saw tattoos. They looked at the social media. He seemed to be flashing something in sign language that they viewed as a gang sign. So into the lockup he went, and now he's in El Salvador in a prison because he wound up on the deportation flight. His attorney and his family claim that he's not a member of the gang. And this is all part of the case that's now before the federal district court judge, who, by the way, has been asking questions about these flights and about how many other people in the country the administration is eyeing for these swift deportations. Well, in response to those inquiries, the judge has been stonewalled by the administration. The argument of the Trump administration is this judge has no right to ask these questions, that these are powers inherent in the presidency that cannot be questioned by the judicial branch. Yesterday, the judge ramped up his demand for information, saying that the administration's responses so far have been woefully insufficient, and that the administration is evading its obligations to the court. He has set a 10 a.m. deadline for an update on the possibility that the administration will invoke what's called the state secrets privilege. That's a rarely used legal way of keeping military matters from the courts.
Wow, great recap there, Stephen. So this 10 a.m. deadline, what happens next after this? Will the judge issue a ruling? If so, will the Trump administration appeal?
So first of all, the Trump administration is already appealing to the circuit court. I mean, the administration wants this to wind up before the Supreme Court as fast as that can happen, because the administration expects and wants the Supreme Court to agree that there are certain things that the president can do that the courts cannot question. And already you're seeing a multi-pronged strategy on the part of the administration to attack the judge, call for his impeachment, and suggest that he's asking questions that are superfluous and could potentially threaten national security just by being asked.
But the fact that they want, and I know the Trump administration wants to get all of these court cases, not just this one, in front of the Supreme Court, but the rebuke we saw from Justice Roberts the other day, does that mean that it might not go the way the Trump administration wants if this does get to the Supreme Court?
It's impossible to read in too much to it, but you're right to note that earlier this week, in response to the president's call for this district court judge to be impeached, the Chief Justice put out a statement, a very rare thing for him to do, 2 sentences that said that impeachment is not the appropriate response to a disagreement with a federal judge and his orders, that the appropriate response is to take it up on appeal, which the administration is doing. But how ultimately Chief Justice Roberts and his colleagues may rule, it remains to be seen. One of the issues here is whether district court judges can issue orders that try to tie the hands of the executive branch on a nationwide basis, nationwide injunctions. And you have some conservative members of the court, Alito, Thomas, Gorsuch, who have been writing about this issue for quite some time. And the conservative legal movement has been gunning for a fight on this for a while. They want the Supreme Court to tell lower court judges that they do not have this power, because this power has been used a lot against the Trump presidencies, both the first term and now we're seeing it in the second term.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News. Stephen, great recap as always. Thanks for your time, my friend.
You bet.
Again, court back in session at 10 a.m. When they gavel in, we'll provide updates throughout the show and throughout the day here on 95.5 WSB. Spoiler alert on all of these court cases, though, as I mentioned to Stephen there. These are all going to get to the Supreme Court, and it's just a matter of that 6-3 conservative majority will find in favor of President Trump on this case. Even if he bats 500, I think they'd be happy with that. Trying to expand the powers of the Oval Office. But again, 10 a.m. court hearing, we'll monitor that. We're continuing to monitor the breaking news out of Heathrow Airport. Speaking of airports, right as we were closing the show off yesterday, the Canadian Transportation Safety Board gave new details about that dramatic crash landing of the Delta flight in Toronto last month. The plane flipping before bursting into flames. ABC's Andrew Dybert has more.
Investigators now revealing the plane was descending too fast, triggering alerts in the cockpit and buckling the landing gear. According to the report, the right wing then hit the ground and broke off. Fuel spilled out of the wing and ignited. The first officer had only 1,400 total flight hours, 100 less than the FAA requirement. But because she had a specific aviation degree, she was eligible for a certificate allowing her to serve as co-pilot.
Interesting. So no blame of flight of pilot error there. And I know that the rumors were swirling that because it was snowy and windy, maybe weather had a thing. But I guess the headline is there, the landing gear broke on landing. So maybe a hard landing. One more. Since we're talking about airports, let's go local. The world's busiest, Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, seeing another expansion, Deborah Green.
The world's busiest airport is getting a little bit bigger. Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson just opened up 3 new gates as an extension to Concourse E. These gates are E40, 41, and 42. Now, 41 and 42 are going to be used by Frontier, while 40 is a common gate that multiple airlines can access. You're also going to find a new retail shop there called On Your Way, and this is is going to carry some basic travel accessories, but it allows travelers to scan a credit card. They enter the store, they grab items, they walk out. There's no standard checkout line. Cameras are going to track everything you're doing in the store. This is kind of common to what Amazon does with their Just Walk Out services, and they're starting to add it in more and more airports.
That is interesting. I'll get to the Concourse E expansion in a second. Have you ever been through one of those stores like Amazon mentioned that Deborah that had? Truist Park has one of those. Like it's this little, they've got like stanchions set up with not velvet ropes, but like a stanchion around a little mini mart at Truist in the outfield. And you just go pick what you want. Like, all right, give me a box of Cracker Jacks, give me a Coke and a water. And you don't have to do anything. You just walk out and somehow it scans your credit card. The question I have is I have like 4 credit cards. Like which one?
Which one is scanning?
Yeah, like, hey, I don't have much room on this one. Don't scan this one. I don't know how that works, but...
I saw one at the Dallas airport when we went to Dallas for the cheer competition,
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't know how this works.
Yeah, Concourse E is great unless the plane train's down and you got to walk to or from. Then you're like, oh, we're flying out of E. We got to walk the whole time. But yeah, otherwise it's pretty good. I saw something. One more airport story. A post on social media just talking about the high prices of everything, and they basically said it's like we're all living in an airport right now with these prices because you know how expensive everything is at the airport. And the person was like, it's like we're all living in a terminal at an airport with these prices. Anyway, good stuff, Deborah. Thanks. Again, we've reached out to Peter Greenberg, travel expert, to weigh in on the breaking news there at Heathrow Airport in London. It is shut down. We will see an impact here at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International. News, weather, and traffic straight ahead. When we come back, President Trump makes good on his campaign promise to dismantle the Department of Education. What's left and what's it mean for us here in Georgia? In-depth coverage next on The Mark Arum Show.
Time changes, season changes. March is a busy month. Dave Baker here for Coolray. Now is the perfect time to get your heating and cooling system tuned up. Coolray will tune up your system for just $79 or get up to $2,250 in rebates on a new Carrier heating and cooling system that comes with the lifetime parts and labor warranty. Simply schedule your appointment online today at Coolray.com. Just pick the time and day that works best for you. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
City of Hope, a place where seemingly impossible blood cancers become treatable, curable. With more than 19,000 bone marrow transplants performed, we're the largest and most successful program in the U.S., making major breakthroughs in treating leukemia, lymphoma, and rare blood cancers, personalizing a treatment plan right down to your DNA. Now the experts striving to make the impossible a reality are closer to home. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hard-working folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't work when you're supposed to be retired. And if any financial advisor tells you it's too good to be true, they simply don't have the options we do. Call Trajan today at 404-390-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claim's paying ability of the issuing insurance company.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
Good Friday morning. It is 9:30. I'm Graham Carroll. Our top story: allegations of anti-Semitism against students prompt a probe from the Department of Education into several Fulton County schools. Denise Katz-Prober with the Brandeis Center for Human Rights claims multiple families complained, but the district did not take action.
Some of the schools that were involved in the incidents that we described to OCR are Alpharetta High School, Autry Mill Middle School, Creekview Elementary School, Chattahoochee High School, Finley Oaks Elementary, and Johns Creek High School, among others.
She says multiple Jewish students have been subjected to threats, name-calling, and more. The district says in a statement it takes all allegations of discrimination and harassment very seriously. A fire at a power substation forces London's Heathrow Airport to close for the day, and it is having an impact on global travel. Delta Airlines issuing travel waivers for passengers with travel plans to London through Sunday, allowing them to rebook without a difference in fares. At least 4 Atlanta to London Delta flights have been impacted so far, and more disruptions are expected through the weekend. This Delta passenger in London says he can't get through to the airline to make changes and is likely stuck for the day.
Not the worst thing in the world. This is my favorite city, but I need to be home.
Some flights are being rerouted to other airports throughout Europe, but hundreds more may be canceled. There's some good news this morning for tax filers. New data from the IRS shows the average tax refund for the 2024 filing season is higher than last year's. As of February 28th, the average refund was $3,382. That's up 6.3% from last year. The increase due in part to the IRS adjusting tax brackets and the standard deduction to account for inflation. There's a recent outbreak of measles across the country, and it could point to the spread of more disease.
In unvaccinated populations where there's measles, there could be other diseases, says Dr. Amy Winter with the University of Georgia's College of Public Health. She was asked how confident she is in surveillance of measles here in Georgia.
My confidence in Georgia is the same as the rest of the states. I mean, measles confirmed cases are passed up to the state health department, who then notifies the CDC through that surveillance system.
And luckily, she says, a majority of parents do get their kids vaccinated. Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
The National Weather Service has released its final report on Hurricane Helene, which devastated parts of the southeast last September. The storm causing at least 248 deaths across several states, including more than 30 here in Georgia. That makes it the deadliest hurricane in the U.S. since Katrina in 2005. Well, a Guinness World Record will be set this hour at Landmark Christian School in Fairburn. A group of men hoping to raise awareness of sex trafficking are cutting down the nets at 10 o'clock this morning after logging 121 consecutive hours playing basketball. That is just over 5 straight days. A Guinness official will be on hand to certify the record for the longest continuous basketball game. That same group established the record for the longest marathon softball game last fall. It is 9:33. It is time for a check of traffic and weather. Ashley Fratzka live in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Started seeing traffic get a little bit slower out of Doraville on the outer loop. 285 westbound, a crash reported in the center lane before Ashford Dunwoody. So just stick with it. You're on the brakes leaving Peachtree Boulevard. And they've set up the construction on the East Freeway there almost every day along I-20 eastbound between 285 and Wesley Chapel in the right lane and blocking the left lane of the collector distributor ramp coming off of 285. I'm Ashley Fratzka, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, high 63, lows tonight in the upper 30s to low 40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high near 70. Sunday, mostly sunny, morning low 47, afternoon high 75.
It is 42 degrees in Lithonia, 40 degrees in Douglasville, and 41 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 10. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
When traffic
No
hits,
traffic getting through in either direction.
the Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
Even the bridge over 75 is being held.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Traffic out of Spaghetti Junction along 285 westbound and a crash on Peachtree Boulevard, 141 southbound before 285.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Pell Grants, Title I funding, resources for children with
President Trump
disabilities
yesterday in
and
the
special
Oval
needs.
talking about the dismantling of the Department of Education, the impact here in Georgia. Next on the Mark Arum Show. Amazing deals like the one I'm about to tell you don't come along every day, guys. Hey, it's Mark Arum back from my friends at Reliable Heating and Air. This is unbelievable. You can now get a free furnace, gratis, no charge, with the purchase of a qualifying air conditioner. That's unbelievable. Get your free consultation by going to reliableair.com, reliableair.com, and next day installation's guaranteed, or they pay you $500. What an amazing deal. Free furnace with the purchase of a qualifying air conditioner. Free consultation. Go to reliableair.com. And if it's not installed the next day, Reliable will pay you $500. Reliable, amazing. Been serving the greater Atlanta area since 1978, and they have a 100% satisfaction guarantee that they stand behind. Plus, amazing 24/7 customer service. Always here for you, always reliable. ReliableAir.com.
Your family is so ready to celebrate spring. Get outdoors, relax, and spend quality time together. Do it in your own backyard in a Bullfrog hot tub from Brown's Pools and Spas. Only Bullfrog offers the Jetpack Therapy system, allowing you to customize each seat to fit every body in your family. Right now through the 24th, Brown's is offering a free luxury package upgrade on select models or instant rebates up to $1,000. Celebrating 50 years of Brown's Pools and Spas. BrownsPools.com.
Here at Massey, we've seen the damage termites can cause. That's why we've protected homes from termite damage for almost 100 years. Our termite protection program doesn't just protect your home from termites, it gives you peace of mind. That's why our Termite Protection Guarantee covers your home and all the things in it. When we protect against termites, we protect families. Schedule your free inspection today at MasseyServices.com. Massey Services. Expect more and get it.
Hey, it's Shelley Winter. With the uncertainty of possible tariffs scheduled for April 2nd, Butler Lexus of South Atlanta has your pre-tariff Lexus right now. Visit before April 2nd for guaranteed pre-tariff pricing. Call 800-NEW-LEXUS.
9:37 on this fast-moving Friday. Welcome back, friends. Mark, Aaron, and crew with you till noon. Confirmation 9:50. So 13 minutes from now, we're going to check in with Brad Gibson from CBS News in London to cover the breaking news, the power outage and massive fire that has shut down Heathrow Airport in London, Europe's busiest airport, and the impact here for folks traveling out of Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. The big news yesterday, President Trump signing the executive order at the Oval Office dismantling the Department of Education.
And it sounds strange, doesn't it? Department of Education, we're going to eliminate it. And everybody knows it's right. And the Democrats know it's right, and I hope they're going to be voting for it because ultimately it may come before them, but everybody knows it's right.
Rory O'Neill, correspondent, joining us here on the Mark Arum Show. Good morning, Rory. Do we know what the impact of shutting down or reducing the size of the Department of Education means to schools nationwide and those here in Georgia?
Well, we're not that far down the road yet, but President Trump yesterday signed an executive order to essentially wind down the department. He's trying to shut it down, saying really it's a waste of money and has poor results to show for almost 50 years of investment. So there are some open questions about what you do with student loan programs and programs that help provide money to rural communities, poorer communities, and especially programs that help students with disabilities. Some of that still has to be figured out, but they are on a fast track to trying to wind down this agency. They will need congressional approval, however, in order to completely eliminate it, and that could be tough to get.
Yeah, obviously a big story nationally, but here locally as well. Georgia gets last year got $4.4 billion from the federal government for education, and a lot of that was for programs, as you mentioned, folks, kids with disabilities, low income, rural schools. Do we have any idea yet, any clarity, what the impact of shutting down or reducing the size of the Department of Education will mean?
Well, that's the part that's I think Congress is going to have to figure out, because let's face it, there are members of Congress from Georgia who don't want to turn off that $4 billion spigot, right? And they work hard to make sure Georgia gets that money, and they want to get some sort of a system there that still allows that cash to be flowing. But we heard from the president yesterday saying that this has just become an administrative bloated nightmare that really just doesn't serve the students or improve education outcomes, and has a poor track record for helping students. So they're trying to downsize things, but find a way to keep some of those funding mechanisms in place.
Yeah, that's what I need clarity on. I understand wanting to cut the bureaucracy level at the federal level, but still be producing the federal funding that goes to states around the country. But here in Georgia, a majority of the school's funding comes from local and county taxes. So, right. Even if they lose the federal funding, I think we'll still be okay.
A lot of that money will be going for higher education. The Department of Education doesn't really have a whole lot of influence on elementary and secondary schools. A lot of it is in the higher education sector. So that could be where you see some of the impacts versus your local elementary school.
Additionally, Rory, President Trump took to Truth Social to say this morning, saying he was going to look to prosecute any vandals or terrorists that have targeted Tesla dealerships dealerships or cars with jail sentences of up to 20 years. I haven't seen any reports of that here in Metro Atlanta. What exactly is going on with Teslas?
Yeah, we're seeing it all across the country. There are even apps that are encouraging people, or wink, wink, nudge, nudge, encouraging people to strike out at owners of Teslas, giving out their addresses and things like that. But we are seeing significant acts of vandalism. Sometimes it's spray-painted graffiti, other times smashed windows. We've seen many cars set on fire. They're keying the cars, puncturing tires. And by the way, it's not just in the U.S. We're seeing a lot of this happen in Canada as well. I think a dealership in Hamilton, Canada this week had 80 Tesla vehicles keyed or the tires punctured. All of this, of course, because Elon Musk is now much more political than he's ever been, and people are not approving of some of the Doge announcements he's been making.
Wow, crazy. All right, Rory, appreciate your time, my friend. Have a great weekend, buddy.
Thanks, Mark. Take care.
A couple of Tesla follow-up stories. Tesla Investor has called for Elon Musk to step down as Tesla CEO, I guess in light mostly of the stock price dropping. It's lost a lot of value there, but also these attacks on individual cars and dealerships. One more, this is not good news for Tesla. I don't know how many are out on the road. Oh, yeah, 46,000. All right, Tesla has recalled nearly all of its Cybertrucks. Have you guys seen those in person yet?
Yeah.
I've never been in one. So I don't know what it's like or what it performs. They're not the most attractive of cars, but I'm not going to judge until I've driven one or been in one. But anyway, Tesla's recalling most of its Cybertrucks due to an exterior panel that can fall off while driving, posing a serious setback for the company whose shares have already been taking a nosedive. Tesla announced the recall of more than 46,000 trucks in a filing with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. The recall applies to all vehicles built from November 2023 through February 27th of this year, accounting for nearly every Cybertruck in existence. I've never had a car that had a recall. I guess, Deborah, I don't know if you've ever had a car that got recalled. Is it free? You just bring it back and they give you it? Okay. All right.
Yeah, so they'll usually send you a letter and you take it to the dealership and they have to fix it within, you make an appointment and they'll fix it right there for you.
Cool. All right. Excellent. I had the car I drive now had a recall, but the recall expired before I bought it. It was a used car and it had something to do with the fuel pump. I haven't talked about this in a while, but on most cars, when you're filling up, you put the nozzle in the tank and you click the thing for automatic fill up and it just fills on its own. You don't have to hold it there. There's something wrong with my gas tank and I have to hold it because it'll shut off after like a gallon. It'll just click close. So it's annoying. So I asked Rocco, I'm like, Rocco, what's going on? He's like, oh yeah, there was a recall on it, but it expired. I'm like, all right, well, how much to replace it? And he was like, $3,500. I was like, well, it's not that big of a hassle to just stand there. One more Elon Musk story. I know he's taken up a lot of space today in the news, but he is headed to the Department of Defense this morning to meet with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and apparently it's raised some eyebrows. Natasha Bertrand in Washington, what can you tell us?
Well, we are expecting Elon Musk to come to the Pentagon today, meet with senior leaders. He was apparently invited by Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, but at CNN, we don't know exactly why he is going there. It does seem that he is going to be receiving a briefing on something. Secretary Hegseth said from his personal account on X last night that it's an informal meeting about innovation, efficiencies, and smarter production. He added it's going to be great. But obviously, this is raising a lot of questions about what would happen if Elon Musk did actually get this top secret, these top secret plans that the U.S. military weighs and conducts in order to prepare for a potential war with China. Now, it's worth noting that there are a number of different versions that he could receive of that briefing if it is in fact what he is there to get. There are code word level classification briefings, which is the highest level of clearance briefings that someone can receive, and then all the way down to less sensitive, less classified versions of that. So it's not clear if he is receiving this briefing what version he is going to get, but we should note that he does hold a top secret clearance. Still, there are a lot of questions here about potential conflicts of interest, given that he has many contracts with the Defense Department. Of course, and receiving such a briefing could give him a competitive advantage over
Natasha Bertrand in Washington. So I have a couple of questions. First off, war plan versus China? What? What? We're prepping Are plans to go to war with China? That's news to me. And if that is the case, what does Elon Musk have to do with that? I guess because a lot of the Tesla stuff is manufactured. I don't know. That's weird. Certainly worth monitoring. And again, not confirmed that's why Musk is meeting with Hegseth of the DOD today. But filling him in on our war plans with China, I did not have that on my bingo card. We'll monitor that. If any information pops from Musk's visit with Hegseth, we will bring it to you live here on 95.5 WSB. All right, just got an update from Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport on the impact that the Heathrow Airport closure is having for travelers here. I'll tell you about that. And we'll go live to London. CBS's Brad Gibson going to join us live with a developing story. Europe's busiest airport shut down right now, and the impact globally. That's next on The Mark Arum Show.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta.
The Cobb County Medical Examiner's Office identifies 57 sets of cremains.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
We've got it covered.
Atlanta jurors convict a former Customs and Border Protection officer.
Your 24/7 news source.
Covering the stories that impact you.
Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Is there a better time of the year than right now to be a sports fan? Hey, it's Mark Arum back with you. You've got some basketball stuff going on. You've got opening day. You've got a big golf tournament around the corner. If you're a big sports fan like I am, enhance your sports experience with the Xfinity Sports app. If you already have Xfinity in the in-home entertainment, you know what I'm talking about, that sports app. Statistics, insights, analysis. It really elevates every single sport that you love to the next level. And goodness gracious, what a great time to be a sports fan. So much going on, so much ahead of us. If you haven't jumped on board the Xfinity family, do it now, especially if you're a sports nerd like myself. Get all the details about the sports app, the in-home entertainment, the amazing internet connections you get through Xfinity, their whole array of available features. Go online to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit your local Xfinity store today.
At Ameris Bank, we're invested in the success of your business. Our local bankers are ready to help you improve your cash flow, optimize your operating accounts, and access financing when you need it. From treasury services and digital banking to loans and lines of credit, we offer tailored solutions to help your business thrive. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. Visit amerisbank.com/withyourbusiness or walk into one of our branches today to get started. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All loans subject to credit approval.
Got a leaky pipe? Ace Hardware Home Services is around the corner with everything you need to fix it, including the expert to do the fixing. Heating or cooling issue? We've got a trusted pro for that, too. We're not just the helpful hardware folks. We're the helpful home service and repair folks, too. From plumbing to heating and cooling, the licensed and insured experts at Ace Hardware Home Services are ready to keep your home running smoothly all year long. Get help today at aceHardwareHomeservices.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler, and here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home and make price-boosting upgrades. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
9:51 on the Mark Arum Show. Big delays through Doraville on 285. What's causing the backups, Ashley Frasca?
The crash has been hanging out in the center lane of 285 westbound before Ashford Dunwoody. So yes, that has you on the brakes, leaving Spaghetti Junction, I-85 and Buford Highway. And along the east side perimeter, it looks like construction crews are on the shoulder, but causing a tap of the brakes, 285 northbound past La Vista Road, and police protecting a stalled vehicle up against the left-hand wall into downtown, 85 south before the merge with 75 in Brookwood. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
Fire involved a transformer comprising of 25,000 litres of cooling oil fully alight. This created a major hazard due to the still live high voltage equipment and the nature of the oil.
That's Jonathan Smith from the London Fire Department on the breaking news. We're monitoring at Heathrow Airport in London, Europe's busiest airport. Locally, just got update from our buddy Andy Gobiel, the Deputy Director of Policy and Communications at Hartsfield-Jackson, said there's minimal impact to operations at Atlanta's International Airport right now. Daily 4 flights, direct flights from Atlanta to Heathrow. 13 flights have been canceled in total between Hartsfield-Jackson and Heathrow Airport. Covering the story from CBS News and joining us live from London, it's Brad Gibson. Brad, thanks for jumping on the breaking news.
No problem at all.
We heard earlier, about an hour and a half ago, from authorities that the investigation now being taken over by the counter-terror police. That seems over here to be a pretty big deal, that they're now in charge of the investigation.
Well, actually, I can understand why people would think that that's a major part of the investigation. They have told the London Times and a number of radio stations here in London that it is just a precautionary measure to make sure that the investigation is handled properly. So I do not believe that this is terror related. They don't believe that. It is just to follow procedure. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. What we're seeing now is the cleanup aspect of all this, which is not just the cleanup of the electrical substation, but getting power back on by midnight London time tonight. And I think a lot of people are concerned that we're another 3 to 5 hours away from knowing for sure that that is going to happen and that flights are going to resume. I also understand from another number of sources that people are being told, don't just expect that your flights are going to pick back up tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. local London time to fly to America, or flights are going to start coming from Asia and Eastern Europe that early in the morning. I don't think those are going to happen immediately. Airlines have got to get the planes in the right places again and start booking those flights. And they don't exactly know if that's going to be possible until they know that the airport is definitely going to open back up and when they're going to open back up.
Brad Gibson joining us in London live on the Mark Arum Show. This is such a major hub for international travel. We're going to see wide-ranging delays, not just, as you mentioned, to Europe and North America, but to Asia. Do we have any indication when things will settle down, get back to normal?
I don't think this is going to start really happening and recovering totally until the first of the week. I'm actually on a flight to America Monday morning from London Heathrow, and until I'm 100% sure the airport is back open, and when that happens, I'm not exactly sure that the knock-on effect is not going to start going further into next week, into early next week. So I'm hoping that they reopen at midnight tonight, like a lot of people, simply because it's going to take that long for the knock-on effect to start improving itself, and the airlines, more importantly, figuring out when they can get aircraft into London Heathrow and where that aircraft needs to be coming from. that could take days.
Now, this is all because of a fire that impacted the power at that Heathrow Airport, a really huge fire. Is weather a possible cause? Was there a lightning storm, or do we have any idea what caused this blaze that shut down the power at the airport?
No, they're not making comments right now about what caused the fire just yet. It is still under investigation. And there was good weather here in London overnight. It happened near midnight London time, and it wasn't until like 2 or 3 in the morning that they realized they had a serious problem that was then affecting power. The good news is that the outages at London Heathrow are supposedly not full on at every terminal. There's power in certain terminals, there's power not in certain areas. And so it's not affecting everything, and they feel as though they can get it back under control and reroute electrical traffic into the airport to be reliable enough for them to operate after midnight. Let's see, like I said, in the next 3 to 5 hours, we have more press conferences, more information about, what's going to happen in the next before midnight tonight, and then we'll go from there.
All right, Brad Gibson, good luck with your flight on Monday. I guess the good news is that authorities don't think this is terror related. It's just they're following protocol. So I guess that's the biggest headline thus far, is they're not treating it as a bad or malicious actor that caused this.
No, exactly, and I think that that's really important here. They are basically saying that we're just following protocol. It was not terror related. They have no evidence of that. A lot of the media here is not reporting a lot of evidence of that kind of thing. This looks like an accident that they really need to investigate and watch carefully. Let me say this, though. It is interesting that the backup electrical system for the airport was within feet of the unit that went on fire. And everyone is just kind of laughing at this, where they basically had this backup system just feet from where the other fire happened.
Yeah, logistically, that does not make sense. Brad Gibson, CBS News, live in London. Brad, thanks so much. Any more developments on this breaking story, we will bring them to you live here on 95.5 WSB. News, weather, and traffic in 2 minutes. Come back, hammer our top local stories. It's the Mark Arum Show on 95.5 WSB.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
If you're approaching or in retirement, listen closely. The stock market has been volatile. Are you tired of seeing your retirement account nosedive? With so much going on in the world, how can you be confident that your retirement is safe? Let me show you how. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Retirement is meant to be enjoyed, but it's hard when you're not sure that your nest egg is safe. At Mitch Lyons Wealth, we wrote the book on protecting your retirement. It's called Retirement of Steel, and each of our clients enjoys a retirement of steel that can weather any storm. If you're not 100% sure that your retirement account is safe, contact us today for a complimentary review. Let's see if the strategies that we're using to help people retire confidently can work for you. I think you'd agree 40 years of working hard and saving for retirement is worth this call. Call 888-471-3896, 888-471-3896, again 888-471-3896. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Listeners, friends, family, neighbors, heck, even coworkers are asking me about QC Kinetics treatment. Hey, it's Mark Arum. No joke. Coworker the other day asked me about QC Kinetics. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. Well, if you're wondering if you're a good candidate, let's see if you answer yes to any of these questions. First question, is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain? And most importantly, do you miss doing the things you love because joint pain is holding you back? If you answer yes to any of those questions, I bet you're a great candidate with my friends at QC Kinetics. Call QC Kinetics right now. Ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can get you lasting pain relief. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Call 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good morning. It is 10 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Dr. Roof. Our top story this hour:
Heathrow Airport is closed.
a massive fire at London's Heathrow Airport shuts it down. The fire started in an electrical substation. Atlanta-based Delta Airlines saying this morning that it's issuing waivers to passengers who are impacted. Marcus Moore has the latest now from London.
Heathrow is one of the busiest airports in the world, and it's completely shut down after a massive fire at that electrical substation. It caused that power outage that left the airport and some 16,000 other customers in West London without electricity. The airport is expected to be closed for the entire day, and the investigation into what happened is really just beginning. The Energy Secretary has said that there's no indication that this was foul play.
And Heathrow just now saying it does not know when the power will be restored and expects disruptions for days. Did you hear about this? A Southwest Airlines jet abruptly halted its takeoff when controllers noticed the plane was not on a runway but a taxiway. Chris Van Cleve with more on the incident that happened in Orlando Thursday morning.
Instead, it was using what amounts to a side street, an area meant for planes getting to and from the gates. This taxiway does run parallel to the runway they were supposed to be on. Air traffic controllers jumped in and stopped the plane, canceling its takeoff clearance.
The flight was headed to Albany, New York. There were no injuries. Southwest confirming that the passengers were taken to a separate aircraft and then took them on to Albany, New York. Your weather for today, mostly sunny, staying cool, highs around 63, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. The National Weather Service has released its final report now on Hurricane Helene, nearly 6 months after that storm devastated parts of the southeast, including here in Georgia. More than 30 people died here from it.
The storm caused at least 248 deaths across several states, including 105 in North Carolina alone, making it the deadliest hurricane in the U.S. since Katrina struck in 2005. Helene first made landfall in Florida's Big Bend region as a Category 4 hurricane, with sustained winds of about 135 miles per hour. Winds gusted to 105 miles per hour in the mountains of western North Carolina.
Correspondent Jim Crusula reports many in Florida and the North Carolina mountains are still in need of permanent housing because of Helene. Well, the sudden firings of two popular Cobb County school coaches triggering an investigation now. Superintendent Chris Ragsdale saying he's launched a probe into the terminations of Campbell High coaches James Gwynn and Randy McClure after reviewing what happened. Ragsdale says whatever the facts are,
as a district, we hold ourselves to a higher standard than the way this was handled.
Students and relatives of the two coaches demanded they be reinstated. Ragsdale says he'll report back when the probe is done. A Change.org petition has nearly 4,000 signatures demanding the two be reinstated. Postal workers expressing concerns about their agency possibly being taken over by the Commerce Department. There were demonstrations in a number of cities yesterday. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy saying last week that he wants to cut thousands of jobs and billions of dollars from the Postal Service's budget. Opponents believe those reductions would negatively impact customers and damage the economy. And DoorDash will let users buy now and pay later for fast food. In a media release, DoorDash saying users can pay in 4 interest-free payments or defer payments and let people pick a date that aligns with their paycheck schedules. But now, buy now, pay later services have exploded over the past few years. Many economists and consumer advocates say that the widespread use of these services are worrying them. They worry about just how much debt Americans are actually getting themselves into. As we take a look at the markets, we're in the red. The Dow's down 437 at 41,515. So the Dow's down more than a full percent. NASDAQ and S&P not far behind. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Ashley Frasca joining us now with a look at the roads.
Good morning, Sabrina. A new slow spot on the east side perimeter. About a 2 or 3 car crash in the left center lane on 285 north right at Lawrenceville Highway. And then you'll run into slow traffic again, 285 westbound from Buford Highway. But the crash that was in the center lane before Ashford Dunwoody, that has cleared. And construction delays are slowing your ride on 285 north up from Flat Shoals as you make the transition onto I-20 east. They're working on that collector distributor ramp, and the right lane blocked before Wesley Chapel on I-20 east. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, high 63, lows tonight in the upper 30s to low 40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high near 70. Sunday, mostly sunny, morning low 47, afternoon high 75.
It is 40 degrees in Alpharetta, 42 in Conyers and College Park. We'll have more news at 10:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good Friday morning to you. Mark Arum here, you there. It's 10:05, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Arum Show live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. The whole fam with us on a Donut Payday Friday. Deborah Green, the executive producer of the show. Longoria, the stoic Eskimo on the other side of the takeout window. Brianna screens your calls. Coming up in 30 minutes, Stephen Lawson, political analyst, going to join us live in studio. 10:50, actor Paul Guilfoyle is going to join us. You know him from CSI. I just realized something. I think we have free range today, guys. Both of our bosses are not here, Deborah.
What?
Yeah, so Chris Crawford, the assistant program director, he took off for March Madness, and I won't judge there. But Ken's not in his office today.
Oh.
It's like we have a substitute teacher. We're just gonna
Watch a film strip?
Yeah, bring in the TV on that little tray.
We can play any bumper music we want. This is great. Yeah. Anyway, I think we have substitute teachers today. All right. We are monitoring, obviously, the breaking news out of Heathrow Airport. The last update we had live before the news break from Brad Gibson in London. Don't suspect terror, but obviously going to have major implications. Mr. Gobio from Hartsfield-Jackson said minimal impact right now at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson. There are 4 daily direct flights, by the way, from Hartsfield-Jackson to Heathrow. We'll continue to monitor that situation. Any moment now, we are going to see court back in session regarding that Venezuelan deportation dust-up. Elena Trine at the White House this morning. What can you tell us?
That's right, and that did actually prompt a rare rebuke. The president calls for this judge to be impeached, a rare rebuke from the Chief Justice, John Roberts. But look, today is going to be a big moment, a high-profile showdown between the judge in this case and Justice Department attorneys. Of course, it comes after the judge initially last weekend had temporarily blocked the president's ability to invoke the 18th century law known as the Alien Enemies Act to transport Venezuelan migrants back to their home country. But also, I think today you're going to hear more about what actually happened and whether or not the administration tried to flout the judge's orders by continuing deportation flights after he had made a verbal order last Saturday. Now, look, the judge in this case is a former Barack Obama appointee, but he's really become emblematic, Jessica, of the scores of district court judges who have really frustrated this Trump administration and kind of paused their agenda coming into this term. Now, as you mentioned, the president and other top allies of his have really laid into these different judges, but mainly this judge, arguing that they are overstepping their judicial authority. Now, in addition to saying the president saying that this judge should be impeached, he also continued to rail against him in posts last night, just hours before this hearing this morning. I want to read for you some of what he wrote. He said, quote, Judge James Boasberg is doing everything in his power to usurp the power of the presidency. He went on to call his rulings, quote, so ridiculous and inept. And another post read, unlawful nationwide injunctions by radical left judges could very well lead to the destruction of our country. These people are lunatics. He went on to say, stop nationwide injunctions now before it is too late. Now, like I said, top people in this administration, people like Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller's Justice Department representatives have all been arguing that Boasberg has gone too far with this ruling, that it is not in his authority to try to block a federal order of this extent. Boasberg, however, has continued to argue that the Justice Department and the answers that they are providing him are insufficient. And that's really what we're going to see play out today. But I want to read for you a statement from Boasberg as well on this. He said, quote, the government cannot proffer a regional ICE official to attest to cabinet level discussions of the state secrets privilege. Indeed, his declaration on that point, not surprisingly, is based solely on his unsubstantiated understanding. So, look, we're really going to see this all play out today when they come face to face this morning. It'll be Boasberg and Justice Department attorneys, one person will be watching all of this very closely, of course, and that is President Donald Trump.
All right, so Elena Trine there at the White House. Again, that court session should be in session right now. Just playing devil's advocate here. Because, again, this is above my pay grade when, you're talking about an 18th century Alien Enemies Act. But if not for the judicial branch, right, if the judicial branch just bends the knee to whoever's in the Oval Office without any recourse, do you know what would have happened last term? Biden would have paid off everyone's school loans if it wasn't for the judicial branch. You know how up in arm people were saying, "Why? How can you forgive the student loans?" If it wasn't for the judicial branch offering checks and balances, Biden would have been able to pay off everyone's student loans. And I know that would have made a lot of you folks mad out there that diligently paid off your student loans. So just playing devil's advocate, if the judicial branch isn't there as a check and balance, the president can do whatever they want. Biden wanted to, get rid of all student debt. I know that the cases are apples and oranges, right? Student debt versus immigration. But just playing devil's advocate, if the judges just, don't fulfill their duties and read the law and offer decisions, then Biden would have wiped out student debt. And I know a lot of people have been really, really mad at that. You might be mad this weekend if you're an outdoorsy kind of person. I am not. Big layoffs at the Fish and Wildlife Department. I guess these are Doge related. Deborah Green, how many people are no longer working at the Fish and Wildlife Department, and how did they find out they got fired?
Doge strikes again. About 400 U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service employees were fired on Valentine's Day by a video conference call. Now, this sounds kind of cold, but originally they were set to get an email, but their management felt a virtual meeting would feel a little bit better. The affected employees lost access to all of their systems within the hour. And again, this affected probationary employees in their trial periods. They were told they were being let go because their skills no longer met the needs of the agency.
As far as I fish, right? But I don't often see, I can count on one hand the number of times I've seen a fish and wildlife person while I'm fishing. But it's usually to get my fishing license for whatever state or jurisdiction I need or the season. So I don't know how much of an impact that is going to be. But let's just talk about that, the way they were fired. Via, I guess, Deborah, it was a Zoom, it was an audio.
Yeah, a video conference call is what they said.
All right. If, again, we have no bosses here today, but if they're listening, wherever they're playing hooky, just fire me by text message. I don't want an email. I don't want you to FaceTime me and be like, hey, you're fired. Just send me a text. I've been here almost 28 years in August. I've been here. I've seen a number of people handed their walking papers. There's nothing more awkward than seeing the HR person, our head of security, Alex Shapiro, and an employee with a cardboard box walking out. I never want to be that person with the cardboard box walking through the newsroom with all their stuff. Never mind, I would need 50 cardboard boxes with all the junk I've got in my office and desk. You know what? Just text me. Hey, your services are no longer needed. Wish you best. I don't want a call. I don't want an email. Just a short, sweet text. Don't make me do the walk of shame through the newsroom with the cardboard box, the head of HR, and Alex Shapiro. Never, ever. I never, ever want to do that. Hey, happy 19th anniversary to Twitter, now X. The impact that social media platform has had over the last 19 years. An American, Georgian, released by the Taliban, and bad news for food banks around the nation. We'll discuss all three of those very important stories next on The Mark Arum Show.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
So if you can't handle your real face, then don't tell me how to handle my life.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
They have a lot more money now because they stopped kneeling.
Eric Von Hessler.
Things are going to get broken.
Eric Von Hessler.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Have you ever really thought about the service companies you use? These are the folks you trust to do things for your home and in your home you just can't do for yourself, like taking care of your heating and air conditioning systems. This is Scott Slade, and this is where Ragsdale Heating and Air really stands out to me. I know you can trust them to take care of all your HVAC, plumbing, and electrical needs like they do for me. You can see it for yourself in thousands of reviews at a 4.9 Google rating. It's easy to schedule your visit online at ragsdaleair.com or call them. Ragsdale, the name I know you can trust.
Healthy, beautiful skin can be yours with Olansky Dermatology. Their expert team offers personalized care for medical, Mohs, surgery, and aesthetic skincare needs. Schedule 24/7 online with their coming Roswell or Buckhead locations, including new evening and Saturday hours in Buckhead. With 40 years of excellence and over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, trust Atlanta's top-rated dermatology practice. Visit OlanskyDermatology.com or call today. Olansky Dermatology and Aesthetics, where everyone deserves healthy skin.
You wouldn't know it, but most financial advisors are put in a box. I'm Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I want to provide you a little insight about financial advisors. Most financial advisors have to sell what their company requires them to sell, and many advisors have to only adhere to what's called a suitability standard. A suitability standard is a limited standard of care, not requiring what's sold to be best, just suitable. Advisors with this loose standard often have limited investment and product selection. Trajan Wealth is held to a fiduciary standard, which is the highest standard of care in the advisory business. And that's just one of the many reasons we have billions of dollars under our care and attract clients from other advisors. Raise your standards today and call Trajan Wealth. 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000. Or visit us at TrajanWealth.com.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I've been asked many times how Morgan & Morgan became the largest injury firm in the world. I think I know. When someone comes to us for an on-the-job injury, we have a huge workers' compensation practice. But many times we find a defective product that was responsible for that injury. Luckily for them, we have a product liability section headed by my son Mike. In addition to the comp case, there's a product case too. Other times, the injured worker is fired or harassed for bringing that claim. We have them covered. Our employment lawyers handle retaliation claims as well as wage theft and discrimination cases, and in some cases need to file for Social Security benefits. No problem. We became big for a reason. 30% of our new cases come as referrals from former clients. Hiring us is easy. Go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer, or call Pound Law on your cell, pound 529. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
So how do we create value? This is Greg Trzynski from the Original Mattress Factory. Value comes from having complete control over our product quality. From design to manufacturing to delivery, everything is handled in-house by our trained professionals. This approach allows us to maintain strict quality standards and respond quickly to customer needs. We believe true value is created when a company takes full responsibility for its products. When you choose OMF, you're getting a mattress built with care and attention at every step. OriginalMattress.com.
Hey, it's your buddy Shelley Winter here, co-host of The Car Guys with my good friend and brother Kevin Deutsch from Butler Lexus of South Atlanta. Whatever you want to know about buying, selling, leasing, or maintaining a vehicle, Kevin has your answers.
That's right, Shelley. For over 40 years, I've sold, leased, fixed, and financed pretty much every make and model. I've seen it all. If you have any car questions, we'll have the answers every Saturday at noon.
It's The Car Guys, Saturdays at noon on 95.5 WSB. Brought to you by Butler Lexus of South Atlanta.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Playing a game with your family? Fun! Playing a game with your roof? You'll lose every time. Dave Baker here with the perfect match for your roof. Finley Roofing, the roof guys. They're the extra effort experts with upfront pricing, exceptional service, and they'll treat your home like it's their own. Win, win, win. And with Finley, manners matter. Finley also has 0% financing available. Get your free roof analysis at finleyroofing.com. Roof.
10:19 on the Mark Aram Show. Plenty of delays on I-285. Live with the latest, Ashley Fresca.
They start on the east side perimeter, Mark, on 285 northbound, trying to get past a crash now in the right lane at Lawrenceville Highway. That has you on the brakes back at Memorial Drive, and it's slow coming up from Flat Shoals on the southeast perimeter, making the transition onto I-20 East. They're working on that collector-distributor ramp, and they blocked the right lane of I-20 East, the proper lanes between 285 and Wesley Chapel Road. Also slow traffic on the south side. The brake lights continue through Stockbridge. 75 South, just trying to get past Hudson Bridge. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
Happy 340th birthday to composer Johann Sebastian Bach. Bach was born in Eisenach, Germany. Died in 1750. That was Bach's Orchestral Suite No. 2, and of course B minor for all the folks.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Did I mispronounce his name?
Johann
Sebastian Bach, right?
Mm-hmm. Sebastian Bach, not from Skid Row.
Yeah, different. Who he was also in Gilmore Girls, wasn't he? I think he was in Lane's band in Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
Not the 350-year-old guy. Anyway, happy birthday. All right, one more birthday. Twitter turns 19 years old today. The social media website Twitter, established when co-founder Jack Dorsey sent the first tweet. He wrote, "Just setting up my TWTTR." The familiar bird chirp would later alert millions of users of the site activity on their phones. The company, later bought by Elon Musk for $44 billion, changed its name to X. I was a pretty early adopter to Twitter back in the day, and I give credit to my buddy from high school, Matt Edwards. He joined way before I did, and he kept pressuring me to join. And I've had a great experience for the most part with Twitter over the years. For some reason now, the engagement just isn't there anymore. And I get so few. It's weird because I've had some great moments on Twitter going viral with tweets, but I don't know what it is with the algorithm now. But I'll tweet stuff out and I get no reaction whatsoever. It's a weird landscape right now. I guess that's why I'm on Bluesky also. But I got no followers on Blue Sky. Find me there on Twitter. But anyway, I've had a good run with Twitter. This is a story that popped as we were getting off the air yesterday. A Delta airline mechanic from Atlanta has been released after more than 2 years in Taliban captivity.
George Glesman was abducted in December 2022 while exploring Afghanistan's cultural sites. His release, facilitated by Qatari negotiators, did not involve a prisoner exchange and is being viewed as a goodwill gesture from the Taliban. Secretary of State Marco Rubio acknowledged Qatar's vital role in the negotiations and emphasized ongoing efforts to free other detained Americans. The 65-year-old Glesman is currently en route back to the United States, escorted by Adam Bowler, a key envoy from the Trump administration. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
All right, so good news that he's coming back. I question 65-year-old Glesman's choice of vacation destinations. Like, I would love to go to every country in the world. Afghanistan right now is pretty low on my list of priorities. Just the way of world geopolitics. I'm not saying I wouldn't love to go to Afghanistan, but maybe at a different time. He was there exploring Afghanistan's cultural sites, which I get, but I think there's other places I would have gone than Afghanistan. Unless he's in the CIA and this is just a big cover-up. I shouldn't say that in case I'm still being recruited from the CIA. To go. Yeah, but anyway, Delta mechanic. 2 years in Taliban. I wonder what it was like being in captivity in Taliban. Was it, they're holding it as a prisoner, or just like, hey, you just can't leave kind of a situation. Anyway, he's headed back to Atlanta. All right, updating the food banks. Food insecurity rising and rising and rising as costs keep going up and up to feed a family. What can you tell us, Deborah?
The Agriculture Department has stopped millions of dollars worth of food deliveries to food banks with really no explanation. The USDA had previously allocated $500 million in deliveries to food banks across the country for the year, but now those food bank leaders are saying those orders have been canceled. Food banks have really been struggling since the pandemic, and then with added inflation, more and more people are in need. The Agriculture Department separately axed 2 other food programs, ending more than $1 billion in planned federal spending for schools and food banks to purchase from local farmers. This comes as Congress is weighing shrinking the SNAP program, which helps about 40 million low-income Americans afford food. and that could also put more pressure on food banks. So consider a donation to our friends over at the Atlanta Community Food Bank.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a double-edged sword because it cuts two ways. First, with all these cuts at the food bank and the need going up, it's the worst time to have these cutbacks. But also we've covered that Georgia farmers are being impacted on this. A large, and not just Georgia farmers, but farmers nationally. A lot of those farmers are able to stay afloat because a lot of their crops are purchased by the federal government, by food banks, by all of these programs. And if these programs are shuttered, all these crops that the farmers rely on to stay alive and keep their farms open, it's gone. I saw a quote from one farmer. It wasn't from Georgia. It was a female farmer, I think from Minnesota. And she says 35% of her revenue comes from selling food to these food banks and the federal government. And if that's gone, she is, she could try to find other avenues, but she's going to have to lower her prices. And basically she's like, it's unsustainable. I'm going to have to lay, my farm workers off. I just don't understand that, especially with food insecurity so high, the price of groceries so high, so many folks in need of food. I came up with a revelation yesterday, a food revelation. Let's say the Aram lineage goes back 5,000 years. In case there are any people that don't believe the earth is older than 5,000. Let's just say, and we'll say that's 50 generations. I'll be generous. So I've got great-great-grandfathers and grandmothers 50 generations back. I am the first person on my family tree to eat biscuits on a regular basis, which is why I struggle digestively to eat biscuits. Right, 5,000 years ago, my ancestors fleeing the desert weren't eating biscuits. They were eating matzah. My grandparents, I don't think, ever had a biscuit in their life. My parents maybe have had one or two at KFC. But now I regularly ingest biscuits. I'm the first Aram in 5,000 years to have biscuits as part of my main dietary intake, which is why my body's like, we have 5,000 years of genes here, buddy. We don't know what to do with these biscuits. What are you doing? So remind me, look for biscuit alternatives, Longoria, but they're so delicious. But yeah, I'm the first Aram in human history to to have biscuits as a main staple of my diet. All right, quick break. When we come back, very excited. Joining us live in studio, political analyst Stephen Lawson, talking big local political issues. That's coming up next on The Mark Arum Show.
Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. Look, I know what's important to you when you're having some additions done to your house. You want the work done with quality workmanship, on time, within your budget, and built correctly. That's why I love Ben Hill Renovations, my deck experts. Getting a new deck from Ben Hill Renovations checks all the boxes. They've been building decks for over 60 years. Every project comes with a dedicated project manager and is properly built with future county and city code requirements in mind. Plus, Ben Hill Renovations offers many options, different styles, types of wood, color, and finishes. They can also build screened-in porches, outdoor living areas, multi-story wraparounds, pretty much anything you can imagine Ben Hill Renovations can do. And they're all backed by the Ben Hill Workmanship Warranty. Set up a design consultation or swing by the new Ben Hill Renovations showroom in Douglasville and talk to one of their designers or see them on the web at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer with experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. EmoryHealthcare.org/Winship.
Welcome to Take 5 Oil Change.
Hey, which way is your waiting room?
Oh, you can stay in your car. It only takes 10 minutes.
I can stay in? Get out. I better find a good playlist to listen to while I wait. EDM? Nah. Oh, what about something classical? Nah. You got any suggestions?
Dad Rock?
Now you speaking my language.
Take 5. The stay in your car 10-minute oil change.
Don't miss your chance to take advantage of the buy 2, get 2 free and pay nothing until 2027. Offer ending soon, only from Window Nation. Schedule your free estimate now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
Hey, how's your HVAC system working these days? Is it keeping you warm? Kind of, maybe, not really. Like, oh hey, this must be how the meat and seafood feel at the supermarket. Castile Heating feels you. We want you warm and comfortable. Our same-day HVAC service will slap that chill into next year. And if it's a new installation you need, Castile's flexible payment options, warranties, and rebates will get your comfort situation going from frozen meats to freshly baked in no time. Book today at CastileAir.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather, traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 10:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by your Metro Atlanta Amco dealers. Well, if the weather cooperates, the Georgia Department of Transportation is going to be opening a new interchange this weekend in Atlanta aimed at making left turns safer for you, and it'll also help ease traffic congestion. It's called a displaced left turn. The first of its kind DLT is set to open Saturday at the intersection of North Druid Hills Road and I-85, helping drivers with making one of the hardest maneuvers near the new Arthur M. Blank Children's Hospital. Georgia DOT's Monet Hazlett explains in this YouTube video.
The DLT allows left-turning vehicles and through traffic to move at the same time, eliminating the need to wait for oncoming traffic.
An estimated 50,000 vehicles pass through the intersection from the hospital side of the interchange every day. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB. All right, your weather for today. It's a beautiful day. Hope you get a chance to get out and enjoy it if you're lucky enough. Mostly sunny. Staying cool, though. Highs around 63. We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. London's Heathrow Airport is shut down for the day after a massive substation fire, and Atlanta-based Delta Airlines is feeling the impact.
Delta's issuing waivers for passengers who have travel plans to London today through Sunday, allowing them to rebook without paying a difference in fares before next Wednesday. But this Delta passenger in London says he hasn't been able to get through to the airline yet.
All the lines are busy, so I don't know. I might be here another day.
A handful of Atlanta to London flights have already been diverted to other airports in Europe or canceled altogether. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
All right, a traffic stop for a hands-free device violation turned into a sizable drug bust out in Clayton County.
A man using his cell phone while driving is pulled over on Forest Parkway in Lake City. The officer notices the smell of marijuana and the driver admits to having less than an ounce. But a probable cause search turns up 32 vacuum-sealed bags of marijuana in the trunk, totaling nearly 9 pounds. The driver now facing numerous drug and traffic charges, as well as possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime, after the search also reveals a handgun under the driver's seat. Police have not revealed the man's name, but he is being held at the Clayton County Jail. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
And marijuana use continues to be on the rise in more and more states legalizing it. But a new study today warns that those who partake may be at a higher risk of a heart attack.
Data on more than 4.6 million people shows that young marijuana users are 6 times more likely to suffer a heart attack than those who abstain. Researchers say cannabis may affect heart rhythm and raise oxygen demand in the heart muscle, even in people under 50 years old.
Jim Ryan says the research was compiled over a 3-year period. The findings are in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology. Tesla owners are dumping their vehicles at a record pace. Edmund says Tesla accounted for 1.4% of trade-ins in the first half of this month. Last month, it was 4%. Tesla stock prices are down, too, by 42%. And speaking of cars, parents, if you're shopping for a car seat, beware. Sherry Preston explains.
A knockoff handbag is one thing. A knockoff car seat, quite another.
If it's a dupe of a car seat, your baby might not survive a crash that they could have survived.
Child safety experts like Dr. Alyssa Baer say counterfeit car seats are flooding online retailers. ABC News showing Dr. Baer a couple of seats listed on Amazon and Temu.
I am not seeing any mention of the brand name. Sometimes price can be a red flag.
Approved car seats will always have a certification sticker, she says. Both retailers have now removed those seats for sale.
As we take a look at the markets, the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P are all in the red, down more than 0.5%. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Ashley Frasca is in the 24-hour traffic center.
A little bit of volume on the downtown connector, 75-85 northbound before and after I-20, and a little bit sluggish southbound getting past 17th Street in Midtown. We have big construction delays. They're paving in Norcross, working in the left lanes of Buford Highway southbound at Beaver Ruin, and continuing the ongoing road work on the East Freeway, I-20 eastbound, the right lane blocked between 285 and Wesley Chapel. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Sunny skies today, high 63. That's trending about 5 degrees below average for this afternoon. Lows tonight in the upper 30s to low 40s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high near 70. Sunshine for Sunday, morning low 47, afternoon high 75.
It is 43 degrees in Cartersville, 45 in Covington. Marietta, you have 42 degrees right now. We'll have more news at 11 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
In Atlanta, there is always something happening.
Tanker truck crashed into the median.
The Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
No traffic getting through in either direction.
Helping you on your commute.
Avoid the area at all costs. Take Highway 155 or Highway 4223.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I've called Delta, and all the lines are busy, so they're not answering. I just called.
Still to come, we'll follow the breaking news. Heathrow Airport shut down in England. But coming up next, talking politics. Stephen Lawson joins us live in studio 2 minutes away on the Mark Arum Show.
It's March. The time changes. The season changes. But it also means that baseball is back, and maybe a certain golf tournament is just around the corner. It also is probably time to update your home entertainment system, you think? Dave Baker here for Brightbox Electrical, a Cool Ray company. Make your home the place to be this season simply by calling your friends at Brightbox Electrical. Brightbox can make your home entertainment system dream a reality. They can customize your home theater, add a surround sound system, connect every room in your house to music, hook up your outdoor living space for music and TV, and more. I think I'm going to look into adding a golf simulator, but let's just keep that our little secret for now, though, okay? It's all good. Brightbox has you covered. Right now, you can get $50 off any electrical service or a free TV mount with the purchase of a new TV install. March is the perfect time to upgrade. Simply go to brightboxelectrical.com and schedule your appointment today for a time and day that worked best for you. That's brightboxelectrical.com.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hard-working folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't work when you're supposed to be retired. And if any financial advisor tells you it's too good to be true, they simply don't have the options we do. Call Trajan today at 404-390-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company.
For only a few more days, you can get 3 rooms of carpet clean plus a free hallway from Zero Res for only $109 when you mention me, Chris Chandler. This offer ends soon, so schedule your appointment now before it's too late. Schedule online at ZeroResAtlanta.com.
10:37 on this extremely busy Newsday Friday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. In less than 15 minutes, we're going to talk to actor Paul Guilfoyle of CSI fame. We are monitoring the court system right now, ongoing court hearing involving that Venezuelan deportation flight. We'll monitor that. And, of course, the breaking news in London Heathrow Airport shut down indefinitely. But let's talk some politics. Joining us live in studio, political analyst Stephen Lawson. Stephen, thanks for coming in, my friend.
Mark, great to be here. Happy Friday.
I pulled you away from the Gold Dome. I know there's a lot of stuff going on at the state capitol. Let's start with Governor Brian Kemp's tort reform. Explain to the average listener what exactly the governor wants to accomplish and why.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, people hear the word tort, and if they're not a lawyer, they may not understand that, right? Yeah, but basically it's the rules of the road for the courtroom. You know, I think most of your listeners would understand over the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years, there's been certainly an uptick in frivolous lawsuits being filed across the state. I know everybody's got a story about, a slip and fall accident or whatever,
Sure.
and these massive nuclear verdicts that are getting passed on. Unfortunately, what's been happening is those costs are trickled down to the customers. So, everything from premises liability, which ensures that businesses are only responsible for what they can control, right? If somebody comes onto their property and they've got security and they've checked all the boxes and done all the right things, and something out of their control happens, they shouldn't be held liable for that lawsuit. And so I think those are just some of the things to really balance the scales. Obviously, we've seen insurance premiums go up, skyrocketing
Yeah.
for people across the state. And it's not just consumers, it's businesses too. And again, those prices, unfortunately, have been being passed down. So this simply helps to balance the scales really in the courtroom between plaintiffs, lawyers, and the defense.
So what kind of controls is the governor looking for as far as, are there, actual limits on what lawsuits can provide? What kind of, in the details of this?
Yeah, so there's no caps
Okay.
on penalties. There's not going to be any of that. The Supreme Court in Georgia overturned that about 20 years ago, said that was not constitutional. But it's things like, as I mentioned, premises liability, limiting frivolous lawsuits. So if my name's John Doe and there's another John Doe that is responsible for something, and a lawyer files a lawsuit erroneously accusing me of doing that, right now, I'm responsible for going through that whole process, for hiring a lawyer, for doing all of that, for the judge to hearing it. The change here would basically have the judge dismiss that automatically, saving everybody money. It prevents things right now under Georgia law. Seatbelt, whether a plaintiff was wearing a seatbelt in an auto accident, is not admissible evidence to a jury.
Really? That
Yeah.
seems like it'd be important.
Right. That's a no nonsense thing.
I know there were some Democrats are on board with this, but a majority of them oppose it. What's the opposition say that is against this tort reform bill?
Yeah, their argument is what proof is there in this bill that it's going to lower insurance costs? And really what we've seen in Florida a couple years ago, they enacted sweeping tort reform. And what they're seeing is that insurance companies are coming back to the state, which is increasing competition, which is therefore lowering prices. Now, Republicans have been very clear. This is not going to be an overnight solution, but competition will lower rates. And I think that's what you're going to see. And again, these are really no-nonsense, common sense approaches to solving this.
Stephen Lawson joining us live in studio on the Mark Arum Show. Let's keep it local for a second, looking ahead to Senate races here in Georgia. I mentioned Governor Brian Kemp of the tort reform bill. It's just been assumed that he is going to run for a Senate seat. Have we gotten confirmation from the governor? Who else might run on the Republican side of the ticket for that?
Yeah, we haven't gotten any word from him yet. I think he's going to make a decision in pretty short order following the legislative session. I would expect that. Obviously, if Governor Kemp decides to run, it's his seat to lose. I think he would be a very formidable challenge to our current Senator Jon Ossoff. I think the governor would probably win that race. I'm not sure that he's going to do it. That transition from being the chief executive of a state to
That's
one
what
of
I've
100.
been saying, yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough transition. And so certainly that's something that he's going to talk to his family about. And again, it's Governor Kemp's race to lose, I think. But if he doesn't decide to go that route, there's a number of names that you're going to hear. I think a lot of people are going to get in very quickly. I think you can look at folks like Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, Insurance Commissioner John King, Commissioner Buddy Carter, a couple names that I would keep an eye on. Congressman Mike Collins out of the Athens area. Obviously, he sponsored the Laken Riley Act that was signed by President Trump. He would definitely be one to keep an eye on. Agriculture Commissioner Tyler Harper is another one. So I think it's going to be very interesting, but certainly that's going to be a wide open race if Governor Kemp decides not to.
Could we see, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot, a lot of Georgians now have cabinet posts in the Trump administration. Could we see one of those cabinet heads say, all right, let's get back to Georgia and let's run for Senate? I know Kelly Loeffler has history there, but maybe a Doug Collins or...
Yeah, there's a possibility. I think it's a long shot.
Okay.
I think most of those folks have probably agreed to be there for a while.
Gotcha.
Have probably made that commitment to the president. And both Doug Collins and Senator Leffer are doing a great job in D.C. And so I would expect them to stay put.
Will Senator Ossoff have any competition on the Democratic side? Because I know he's raised some eyebrows with some of his votes recently, and the far left of the party not totally on board with another Ossoff term. Could he face any challenges?
I don't think so.
No.
I think he's the incumbent senator, and I think he will run for re-election. There's always the chatter in everybody's party, right, about what you're not doing right, but he will be the nominee.
Let's talk about the Democratic Party. We covered the latest polling. The Democratic Party has a 29% approval rating right now, which is historically low. We saw Chuck Schumer catching a lot of shrapnel for giving the go-ahead vote to President Trump's budget, and there's a lot of infighting, there's a lot of chaos, lack of leadership. That's at the national level, right? The congressional House and the Senate. Have we seen any of that disarray with the Democratic Party here in Georgia? Have you seen anything under the gold dome, any fractures with the party, or is it kind of calmer here in Georgia?
There's been a little bit of a trickle down. I'll go back to the tort reform. The tort reform passed in part because there were 3 Democrats in the House yesterday that voted for it. They stood up and said, hey, we're going to support businesses, we're going to support consumers, and we're going to try to fix this balance to rebalance our justice system. So they splintered off and voted. They got some harsh blowback from House Democrats, but I think they were probably on the right side of that issue. But certainly there could be some trickle down. You're seeing that play out in the girls' sports conversation, the transgender conversation. Really, with the American people and Georgians, that's an 80-20 issue that Republicans are on the right side on, and you're seeing some fractures there with them. I think you've seen it fractured for the Democrats here on immigration and border control. And those are 80-20 issues that Republicans are on the right side of. So they're going to have to figure out a path forward on their messaging to really develop that.
One final question for you, Stephen. We've seen the eruptions at town halls, right, on both sides, Republican and Democratic congressmen and women, getting heckled at their town halls. Will we see here, for let's talk Republicans right now, what DOJ is doing, big cuts at the VA. There have been a lot of the farm subsidies. A lot of farmers are not sure what's going to happen. Can we see President Trump see any pushback from Republican lawmakers when it comes to protecting veterans' jobs, the VA, or some of the farm initiatives?
Yeah, look, I think it's something they're going to have to navigate, right? Like when you are dealing with the mass that is the federal government, and I think President Trump is absolutely correct that we've got to scale it back. That was a campaign promise he made. I think Georgians and Americans universally agree that the federal government's out of control, that our debt is out of control, the spending is out of control. It's how you do that and how you message that, and especially on some of these agencies where they're health-related, veteran-related, being more surgical and that approach, I think, would benefit the administration. I think they're doing that. But again, with a lift that big, you're going to stub your toe occasionally. But I think generally they are on the right side. Georgians agree. We've got to cut back. We've got to make government more efficient. And I think that's what they're going to continue to do.
My man, great stuff. So good. Thanks for coming in studio, by the way. You're spoiling me now, and every time you come in, I'm going to want you in studio.
I'm back. Let me know.
Folks want to find you on social media online. Where can we hit you up?
Yeah, Stephen Lawson _ on Twitter.
And it's PHEN.
It's a PH.
Yes.
That's the only way to spell it.
The fancy name.
That's
the
right.
fancy way to spell it. I appreciate it, my man. Quick break. When we come back, actor Paul Guilfoyle from CSI joins us live next on The Mark Arum Show.
Everyone has an opinion.
We have become an idiotic nation that doesn't know how to even debate anything, so it doesn't surprise
Eric
me.
Von Hessler has an opinion.
You will still age.
And some advice.
Start doing things when you're younger. Drink a lot of water.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
And you will still die.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. I know what's important to you when you're looking for a new deck. You want the work done with quality workmanship, on time, within your budget, and built correctly. Getting a new deck from Ben Hill Renovations checks all the boxes. And when it comes to new decks, pretty much anything you can imagine, Ben Hill can do. And they're all backed by the Ben Hill Workmanship Warranty. Swing by the new Ben Hill Renovations showroom in Douglasville and talk to one of their designers. Or see them on the web at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
Hey, diamond lovers. Shane Company knows fine jewelry. That means a lot when you're looking for a dream engagement ring, a beautiful keepsake, or the perfect gift. When it's this important, you want someone who knows exactly how to work with your budget, not against it. Someone who knows you deserve a piece more beautiful than you've ever imagined. Through 4 generations as a family business, we've always sourced our diamonds and gemstones directly, cut out the middleman, and passed the savings on to you. Come see us in store and compare our wide selection of diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in different shapes and sizes. So many in stock and ready to take home today. Create your dream engagement ring in 3 easy steps, or pick a perfectly preset ring that's created by our in-house design team. Browse our selection of fine jewelry gifts for everyone in your life, from diamond and gemstone studs to must-have tennis bracelets and beautiful birthstone necklaces. With our everyday competitive prices and unmatched free lifetime warranty, Shane Company is your go-to destination for fine jewelry. Visit shaneco.com and come in to see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
It won't be that long before school gets out. And if you're thinking about buying a new home this summer, now is the time to get the ball rolling. This is Scott Slade. My friends at MyLand always recommend getting pre-approved before starting to shop for your next home. Make sure you know how much you can afford and have your financing ready to make an offer when you find your dream home. MyLand is who I recommend for all home financing needs, whether it's a second mortgage, cash out refinance, or purchase of a new home. They even have a great new product that allows you to qualify for an investment or rental property without personal income documents. Whatever type of mortgage you need, MyLand will close your loan fast without issues and headaches and make sure you have the best rate in town. Call MyLand. 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Online, it's myland.com. Spelled it MILEND. NMLS and Georgia Mortgage Licensee 148769, located at 8995 West Side Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. MyLand is an equal housing lender.
Hope. It's more than a word. It's a breakthrough in the making. At City of Hope, we're pushing the boundaries of science, targeting cancer at the molecular level, with teams of experts working together to personalize a treatment plan right down to your DNA with unprecedented speed, making every second count, with appointments in as little as 24 hours. City of Hope, advancing cancer care at life-saving speed. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
Got a leaky pipe? Ace Hardware Home Services is around the corner with everything you need to fix it, including the expert to do the fixing. Heating or cooling issue? We've got a trusted pro for that, too. We're not just the helpful hardware folks. We're the helpful home service and repair folks, too. From plumbing to heating and cooling, the licensed and insured experts at Ace Hardware Home Services are ready to keep your home running smoothly all year long. Get help today at acehardwarehomeservices.com.
At the Original Mattress Factory, we know most people don't love mattress shopping. In fact, many dread it. And why wouldn't they? Many mattress stores use high-pressure sales techniques like today-only pricing and tout features that don't really offer a benefit. They offer an overwhelming number of options to confuse things even further. At OMF, we do things differently. Our showrooms are easy to navigate, and our sales team actually cares. Our goal is to answer your questions, not pressure you into purchasing. OriginalMattress.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or ConsumerCellular.com today. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
10:53 of the Mark Aram Show. Checking the ride around town live. Ashley Frasca.
Delays with paving in Norcross. They're working in the left lanes of Buford Highway southbound at Beaver Ruin. And a heads up in Sandy Springs. Police have Roswell Road shut down with a traffic investigation between Long Island Drive and Windsor Parkway. Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Market, where you can experience the flavors of Latin America with deals on vibrant ingredients and zesty creations store-wide. Save on no antibiotics ever meat, fresh avocados, and more through March 25th. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
Honored to have joining us live on the Mark Aram Show, Captain Jim Brass from CSI, also known as actor Paul Guilfoyle. Paul, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Hey, good morning. It's nice to be live.
I am so excited to talk to you. I just went through your resume, and you've been in some of my favorite things of all time. Going back to the movie Howard the Duck, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Serpent and the Rainbow, and one of my favorite television shows of all time, Wise Guy, back in the 80s. What a remarkable run you've had, my friend.
Yeah, no, it seems to have fallen in place. I like to take it one step at a time, but I managed to land on each flagstone across the river, yeah.
And you, what I love about you and your talent is the versatility, right? There's no role that I could read in a script and go, oh, Paul Guilfoyle couldn't handle that role.
Well, thanks for saying that. I hope you become a producer soon.
Yeah, from your lips to God's ear. Paul's here promoting a new movie, Any Day Now. Tell us about this, on the heels of St. Patrick's Day the other day.
That's right. It's the 35th anniversary of the heist. It's the Isabella Stewart Gardner Art Museum. There was a beautiful, ornate Italian villa in Boston on the Fens, the Fenway Park, near Fenway Park, the baseball field, but in a beautiful area, very private, and built with a fantastic amount of art from Vermeer's, Rembrandt's, Edouard Manet's, and all of Isabella Stewart Gardner's collection of art that she collected in the 19th century. And as an aristocrat in Boston in those days, she gave it to the city of Boston for the public to come in free. And I was a school, went to high school in Boston and lived in Boston, and I would play hockey across that park at an arena. And I would go there to do my homework, and it was so tranquil, way more tranquil than my family life. And I'd get, I'd read it was fantastic, and no one went to it. It was such a secret, and I loved this little secret, beautiful art museum that was way really introduced me to another class of living, frankly, and it was relaxing. I liked it, and it gave me a lot of repose. And I was kind of pissed off when a bunch of guys, probably from my old neighborhood, ripped it off.
And it's so fun. So I grew up in Connecticut, so I'm very familiar about the heist. In fact, I believe I was in middle school. We were we would either take field trips to New York City or Boston, right? That was the yearly field trip. And the field trip that year was Boston to go to the aquarium, I believe, and that museum, and we had to cancel that part of the field trip. So I'm very familiar with the heist, and I believe there was a documentary that was made about it as well.
Yeah, there's a documentary, but it's curiously enough, like the documentary can't solve the problem of where they are now. Everything that people really want to know for their own, for their own reasons. They like to have closure, I suppose, and it's a legitimate, desire. But there is no closure in this. This is mythical. There is the art was stolen 35 years ago. No one knows who did it, and no one knows where they are. The frames are still left on the museum walls, empty.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The museum now, and the museum says, in a very kind of romantic way, that the paintings will come back. When they come back, they'll go back to that isn't the notion that I lived under, but it's possible that they will. Who knows?
I'm excited. Any Day Now is the movie. Final quick question for you, Paul. Since you're from Boston, lobster roll, do you like the Connecticut style hot butter or the Maine style with mayonnaise?
Well, I like the one they make in Revere at Kelly's Roast Beef. I'll give them a plug. They make one great down at the Kettle Ho in Katuitt, Massachusetts on the Cape. And of course, they're made New England style.
There you go. I don't know if we can say Kettle Ho on the radio, but he just did.
I guess so. Well, I like it's live.
There you go. Paul, such a privilege, man. I'm excited for the movie Any Day Now in theaters this month. That infamous St. Paddy's Day heist at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston. Quick break. We'll update our top local stories. Social medias are active at Mark Aram and at WSB Radio.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Our weather can be crazy. Dry for days and drenched with storms. Extreme heat to bitter cold, and your roof takes all the abuse. Dave Baker for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. If your roof has problems, it may be showing you signs. Inside, look for wet spots on the ceiling or walls. Outside, check for streaks and stains or granules in the ground. If you find these, think of Findlay first. The perfect match for any roofing issues, and they offer 0% financing. Schedule your free roof analysis at findlayroofing.com.
Roof. Mom and Dad seemed different after a European-style holiday on MSC Cruises.
Call us Cloud and Yvette.
The ship had restaurants, shops, and nightlife.
La Galleria.
And of course, American touches, like an aqua park and a sweets shop.
American je ne sais quoi.
Mom, you're from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, Kevin.
Book now and save up to 35% off, plus kids sail free. MSC Cruises. Let's holiday. To book, visit msccruises.com or contact your travel advisor. Restrictions apply. Ships registered in Panama and Malta.
Healthy, beautiful skin can be yours with Olansky Dermatology. Their expert team offers personalized care for medical, Mohs, surgery, and aesthetic skincare needs. Schedule 24/7 online with their Cumming, Roswell, or Buckhead locations, including new evening and Saturday hours in Buckhead. With 40 years of excellence and over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, trust Atlanta's top-rated dermatology practice. Visit OlanskyDermatology.com or call today. Olansky Dermatology and Aesthetics, where everyone deserves healthy skin.
At D. Geller & Sons Spring Bridal event, picture this. 10 of the most exclusive names in engagement and wedding ring design with their entire assortments, not on a website, but right in front of you, ready to see, feel, and try on. And no matter what you choose, you'll get up to $3,000 off in event-only savings or 0% APR financing for 3 years. This weekend, March 21st through 23rd, in Kennesaw and Sandy Springs. RSVP online at dgeller.com.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by the next generation Xfinity 10G network. London's Heathrow Airport is shut down all day after a massive fire knocked out power to Europe's busiest airport. And that is having a ripple effect here in Atlanta for Atlanta-based Delta Airlines.
A few Atlanta to London flights have been diverted or canceled so far, and more could be affected over the weekend. So Delta's issuing waivers allowing passengers with travel plans through Sunday to rebook flights over the next few days without a difference in fares. But this man stuck in London isn't having much luck.
I've called Delta, and all the lines are busy, so they're not answering. I just called American Express Travel to see if they can help. I'm waiting.
Some flights are being rerouted to other airports in Europe. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
Well, I hope you have some freedom on a Friday to get out and enjoy this weather. It's beautiful, mostly sunny, headed for a high of 63 this afternoon, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Well, you hear the WSB traffic team talking about it all the time, that area around North Druid Hills and I-85. Well, some relief is on the way, says the Georgia Department of Transportation.
A DLT allows left-turning vehicles and through traffic to move at the same time.
A new interchange aimed at making left turns safer will soon be at that intersection of North Druid Hills Road and 85. It's a first of its kind here in Metro Atlanta, and GDOT expects to open the displaced left turns, what it's called, Saturday, weather permitting. A 20-year-old man has died after falling from the 19th floor of a building that's under construction in downtown Atlanta. The man was pronounced dead at the scene by medical personnel Thursday morning. His identity has not yet been released. Well, the first arrests have now been made in the vandalisms targeting Tesla dealerships and charging stations. Aaron Kotursky has more from New York this morning.
3 people face arson and destruction charges for throwing Molotov cocktails at Tesla products in 3 states. Elon Musk says this is psycho, and he says he's ramping up security. There has been an uptick in threats since Musk began leading Trump's effort to drastically shrink the federal government. There's no let-up by protesters. A group calling itself Tesla Takedown is aiming to demonstrate next week at showrooms across the country.
Well, today is National Credit Card Debt Reduction Day. Mark Gelman is a financial advisor.
As of the last quarter of 2024, credit card balances actually surpassed $1.17 trillion nationwide, which is a record. And a lot of that is born out of the fact that a number of consumers are not keeping up with the rate of inflation and just the cost of day-to-day living.
He says that there's no question that credit card debt is a growing issue across the country. Let's take a look at the markets. We're in the red. The Dow's down 209 at 41,744. So the Dow's down 0.5%. NASDAQ's in the red. So is the S&P. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. We say good morning to Alex Williams, I believe, in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Good Friday morning, Sabrina. Right now, we are watching some brake lights through downtown. Still slow, 75-85 northbound. As you leave Highway 166 Langford Parkway, trying to make your way up into Midtown. Some southbound delays on 75-85 17th Street down to North Avenue. Heads up in Sandy Springs, a big thoroughfare is shut down. Roswell Road shut down in Mystic Place. So might want to think about your alternates. Lake Forest Drive is a good one to get you around that. And construction left lane into cab of the I-20 eastbound collector distributor ramp between 285 and Wesley Chapel Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, high 63, lows tonight in the upper 30s to low 40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high near 70. Sunday, mostly sunny, morning low 47, afternoon high 75.
44 degrees in Smyrna. It's 46 in Loganville and here in Atlanta. We'll have more news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
I want this town to be near you.
Bad news to the crew. One of the bosses showed up. I just saw substitute teacher got punted. Hey, friends, welcome back to the Mark Arum Show on this very busy Friday morning. Coming up in 30 minutes, Deborah's got more tickets to give away. We're going to update our top local stories. A couple of big stories we are following right now. Elon Musk has just wrapped up a meeting at the Pentagon. Sources say he was being briefed. This is not confirmed. Being briefed on a possible China war plan, which kind of blew me away. I don't know if that's true or not, but why Musk would be involved in that. Courtroom drama involving the Venezuelan deportation plane. The President Trump's lawyers and the DOJ has been asked for more information from the judge there. Obviously, a really critical case and a lot of pressure on that judge right now. We'll continue to monitor that. I've heard no update. And, of course, the big international story we've been following is the closure of Heathrow Airport in London. Traveling in and out of London's Heathrow Airport not going to happen today. The airport says it will be closed all day because of a fire at a nearby electrical substation. The fire under control now, but it knocked out power to thousands of homes and businesses and is causing major travel disruptions. CBS News correspondent Ian Lee has more in London.
Investigators are looking into that, and they want to get answers quickly. So they brought in the Counterterrorism Command, not because they believe there's been foul play, but they have the specialists, the resources, and the capabilities to quickly pinpoint the cause of the fire and to limit any further disruption. But right now, getting that airport up and running again, finding out the cause of the fire, those are the two main things they're trying to do.
Now, locally, not a huge impact yet at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International. The spokesperson there said minimal impact now. There are about 4 daily flights from Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson to Heathrow. 13 flights in total from Atlanta had been canceled. But the longer Heathrow remains closed, the more ripple effect delays we might see because of that. So if you're traveling internationally, not just to London, but if you're going anywhere internationally, you might want to check in with your air provider and see what's going on with the status. Crazy situation. In the middle of some transcontinental flights were turned around. One of CNN's foreign correspondents was flying from Brazil to London, halfway over the ocean, when they got word that Heathrow was closed. And I just figured, Deborah, they'd just fly to a different airport in Europe, right? There's another airport in England, or fly to Paris, de Gaulle Airport. But no, they turned them around and sent them back to Brazil. Have you heard? You reached out to English Nick, our buddy from 97 Won the River, who's in England. Have you heard from him? Is he woken up yet?
He said, well, they're about 5 hours ahead, but I have not heard from him yet, so I'm not exactly sure what he's up to.
Wake up, Nick. Come on. Maybe he's stuck on a flight that got redirected to Vladivostok. Is that a real city? I just made that up. I think I just made that up. Anyway, we'll continue to monitor that. I do want to update the JFK documents, and we had that amazing author on the other day on the JFK document dump, Gerald Posner, who's a JFK expert, wrote a number of books about it. But it's 80,000 pages, so we're still sifting through. ABC's Terry Moran updating that story on whether anything previously unknown was found out.
The vast amount of evidence about the assassination of John F. Kennedy points to one man, Lee Harvey Oswald. There are lots of interesting and intriguing shadows and threads you can pull, and and all the rest of it. But all that has been explored. All that is ground that has gone over because even though he was only 24 years old, Oswald had been around the world. He'd served in the Marines in Japan, defected to the Soviet Union, lived in Minsk, today's Belarus. He'd been in Finland, Mexico City, in contact with Cubans. So there were a lot of reasons for the federal government to surveil him.
I had no idea that Oswald was only 24. That's insane. I would have, I thought he was at least in his mid-30s, right?
He looked it.
Yeah, he did. Who was the actor that played, was it Oldman? Who played Lee Harvey Oswald in JFK? I think it was Oldman. He turned 67, by the way, yesterday. I forgot to give him a birthday shout-out. But that's shocking. I mean, that's not classified information, but Lee Harvey Oswald was only 24 years old when he was killed by Jack Ruby there. Crazy stuff. All right, this is a pretty big... Oh, this just popped. British utility company says power has been restored to Heathrow on an interim basis. I don't know if that is going to allow the airport to reopen and get flights going, but the power has been restored to Heathrow, Europe's busiest airport, on a temporary basis. So hopefully that will get things moving along there. Israel's top court ordering a halt to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's dismissal of the head of Shin Bet Internal Security Service. CBS's Rami Incensio reports from Tel Aviv.
This is unprecedented. It's the first time that the head of the country's internal intelligence services, some compare it to the FBI, has ever been fired. His name is Ronen Bar, and the cabinet fired him in what was a unanimous vote late last night. Now, Netanyahu said that he lost faith in him. His allies accuse him for the security failures of October 7th. They say that he actually got intel the night before October 7th, but then didn't act on it.
Yeah, obviously something worth following there. The Mideast situation, again, that ceasefire long done now between Israel and Hamas, with still over 50 hostages being held by Hamas. And the hostage family's not really happy that the tensions have escalated. And there are now ground troops back in Hamas, very dubious on whether or not they're going to get their friends and relatives back. Something to monitor throughout the weekend. Check in here throughout the weekend, by the way, on 95.5 WSB. I mentioned when we had Paul Guilfoyle on, I'm a documentary hound. And I was watching one documentary yesterday. It was on the Holy Grail. Yeah, all my knowledge of Holy Grail comes from Indiana Jones, right? But it was this church in Italy, and there's they have like this picture of Jesus, not like a photograph, but like a painting or something. Right. And it was really fascinating about the miracles that go along with this and the hunt for the Holy Grail. So fantastic documentary. Of course, I can't remember the name of it, but if I can, I'll post it online. But this is a documentary I think might draw the attention of Vinny Bag of Donuts, Longoria, maybe Alex Williams. What can you tell us, Deborah?
Atlanta is the Hollywood of the South. I know I drive by filming locations pretty much every day. Well, a documentary about our fine city is in the works, specifically Magic City. Produced by Drake, Jermaine Dupri, and Hawks owner Jamie Gertz, the 5-part documentary will be available on Starz a little bit later this year. There's no set date yet, but this is how they're describing it. The series offers an exclusive look into the enigmatic founder, Michael Mr. Magic Barney, and the lives of many women responsible for building the club's mystique. And aside from producing the project, Drake, who has been on TikTok videos there with tubs of money throwing it around, he's also featured in it, and he's talking about his time at the club along with other celebrities, including Shaq, Killer Mike, T.I., Nelly, and Big Boy.
All right, Magic City, which is now, I think, more famous for its wings than the shoe show that's going on, right? The famous, I think you can order them on Goldbelly.
Yeah, I think you can.
So the statute of limitations has now passed. I can admit that I have, yes, been to Magic City. It was in my single days. My buddy Anthony took me, and it's a scene, man. I didn't have wings. I don't even know if they were serving food back in the day. But Magic City it was a scene. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Have you been Longoria?
I have not. You can
Magic
take me on
City?
my 50th in a couple of years.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Okay.
Deborah, in your adventures through these mean streets of Atlanta, have you ever been a patron of Magic City?
I have not driven past it many times, never gone inside.
Yeah, it's again, it's long ago. I mean, if they were serving wings back then, I didn't get them. But Yeah. All right. That's a documentary I can get on board with, the Magic City documentary. Thank you for that, Deborah. Quick break. When we come back, we are still monitoring the court fight over the deportation flights. Elon Musk just wrapped up his meeting at the Pentagon, and we shall update our top local stories. All the social medias are active at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta.
After suspect refuses to exit home on Summer Chase Drive.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Looks to be a tanker truck crashed into the median on the Jam Cam.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
The major culprits are squeezing household budgets for auto insurance, gasoline, and utilities.
Your 24/7 news source. Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Time changes, season changes. March is a busy month. Dave Baker here for Coolray. Now is the perfect time to get your heating and cooling system tuned up. Coolray will tune up your system for just $79 or get up to $2,250 in rebates on a new Carrier heating and cooling system that comes with the lifetime parts and labor warranty. Simply schedule your appointment online today at Coolray.com. Just pick the time and day that works best for you. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer with experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. EmoryHealthcare.org/Winship.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler, and here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home and make price-boosting upgrades. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Right now, you can save on USDA Choice Boneless Chuck Roast. On sale for just $6.99 a pound with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group, to discuss one of the biggest blind spots that people face when saving for retirement, and it's a head scratcher. Chris, how do so many people not know what they're invested in?
That's the biggest flaw that everybody runs into. They think they know what equities they have, they think they know what bonds they have, but they really don't know how those mutual funds or how those index funds are performing in conjunction with one another. So, I would liken this to a big pot of soup, and we're just throwing all the ingredients in the refrigerator in this thing. It's not very good. It's just a mishmash of stuff. And sometimes you like the way it tastes. Sometimes you don't. And when you don't know why. You don't know if you got too much chicken in there or too much vegetables in there or what's going on. And I ask every caller that comes in for an initial consultation, do you know how your portfolio is broken down? And they say, well, I've got, 20 or so options in my 401k, and I just picked 2 of them or 3 of them. I thought I needed some international. I thought I needed some U.S. equities. I thought I needed some bonds. And they're just guessing. So you have to absolutely know what you're invested in, and that's where we will run the 401k portfolio x-ray for you, because that'll break it down. If you're not proficient at investing and don't understand this world, we will walk you through it. not knowing what you're invested in is a big hindrance to growing and protecting your money. We will run a portfolio x-ray for you and educate you on exactly what's in your portfolio.
Set up a time to get your complimentary portfolio x-ray today. Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858, or book online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. I know what's important to you when you're looking for a new deck. You want the work done with quality workmanship, on time, within your budget, and built correctly. Getting a new deck from Ben Hill Renovations checks all the boxes. And when it comes to new decks, pretty much anything you can imagine, Ben Hill can do. And they're all backed by the Ben Hill Workmanship Warranty. Swing by the new Ben Hill Renovations showroom in Douglasville and talk to one of their designers. Or see them on the web at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
11:18 on the Mark Arum Show. Big delays on the south side of town. Let's say hello and good morning to Alex Williams.
Hey, good morning, Mark. And I've been scanning the jam cam. No crashes in the way, just the volume. It's stacked up 75 southbound from Mount Zion exit 231 as you make your way through Stockbridge, passing Hudson Bridge Road. On the other side of I-75 coming out of Cartersville, we got a crash 75 southbound below Old Allatoona Road exit 283. You're jammed up there. You can use Highway 41. And we got that crash in Sandy Springs shutting down Roswell Road at Mystic Drive, just north of West Wyuka Road. You can think about using Lake Forest Drive as an alternate. Traffic brought to you by Callaway Resort and Gardens. Celebrate spring at Callaway Resort and Gardens in Pine Mountain, Georgia. Relax at their 4 Diamond Lodge and Spa or a charming cottage experience. Vibrant blooms and immersive art. Plan your spring getaway at CallawayGardens.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WUSB.
Not only is this Alex Williams' favorite song to play with his nieces, but songwriter Kristen Anderson Lopez, who wrote this song from the film Frozen, turns 53 years old today. Maya loves this song. Women love that song. You girls love that song, for the Frozen?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Anyway, happy 53rd birthday, Kristen Anderson Lopez. She didn't sing the song. She just wrote the song. All right, pop quiz, Deborah Green. What is one tourist attraction in the United States that your favorite radio host, Mark Arum, will never visit?
Oh, well, I think we all know that's the Grand Canyon.
The Grand Canyon. I don't, it's fine. It's grand. It's a canyon. I'm not going there. A lot of it goes back to that Brady Bunch episode where they had issues at the Grand Canyon. Another reason why I'm not going to the Grand Canyon. Check this out, guys. A Korean family of 3, women between the ages of 33 and 59, missing in the Flagstaff, Arizona area after taking a trip to the Grand Canyon National Park, albeit during a dangerous winter storm a week ago. They were last known to be traveling on Interstate 40 from Williams, Arizona to Vegas, more than 3 hours away. GPS data from their rental car last indicated they were traveling west on I-40 near where there was a deadly 20-vehicle accident March 13th outside of Williams. This is John Paxton with the sheriff's office in Flagstaff.
Since the 13th, there has been no phone pings that we've seen, no phone calls, no credit card use. And that GPS, there's never been another point of that GPS on that vehicle. We don't have any reason to believe there's any foul play.
Yeah, I'm done. Another reason I'm not going to the Grand Canyon. I hope they're found, the missing Korean family. I get it. It's majestic, but is there a food court there? Is there anything that? No, I'm not going to the Grand Canyon. This is first for all the families that have children that rely on daycare. This is a story that I want you to pay attention to. This is crazy. What can you tell us, Deborah?
Parents, caregivers, you've all had that point where you just want your child to go to sleep. A church daycare in Forsyth took things a little bit too far when the workers gave toddlers Benadryl to make them fall asleep at nap time. Now, when parents went to pick up their kids later in the day, they noticed them very sluggish, not acting normal at all. And the daycare eventually was shut down after reviewing surveillance footage where they caught workers in the act. Benadryl not recommended for children under the age of 6 years old.
Oh, I did not know that. All right, so I'm familiar with this. My cousin used to give his kid Benadryl to get him to go to sleep earlier. And I believe, was it Benadryl? Wait, Maya gave something to Soba, our dog, because of the storm. Not this recent storm, but I think it was something to calm her down because she was really, and it worked.
CBD oil? No?
She got CBD treats for the dogs. Those don't really work that well. And I don't even know if they're illegal. I don't know if I should have said that on the air.
No,
but
they're not illegal.
They're not illegal. All right. But I know for a fact that there are parents out there that give Benadryl to their kids to calm them down, go to sleep. I know a mom that gave melatonin to their kids. Have you ever used a substance that
Well, I've only used Benadryl for allergy reasons, never to put them to I need to go to bed early tonight. Let's put the kids early. No,
Understood. Now, listen, if you're a parent, it's your kid. As long as you use the prescribed dosage. I didn't know that, Deborah. It was 6 years old or younger. You shouldn't have it. But you turn your kids over to the daycare. No, you can't be doing that. You can't have a daycare worker just going willy-nilly and giving the kids Benadryl. That's inappropriate, unacceptable. I remember you can't even school nurse. I don't know if it's changed now, but you can't even get aspirin from a school nurse. You can't get any medication from the school nurse or anything in public schools unless it's a prescribed prescription, like if you have asthma or something. But that's nuts. Be careful. Make sure you send your kids to the proper daycare facility. That is not something that they should have been doing, giving kids Benadryl. If you're a parent, you want to be a parent, and you do that, I'm not going to judge. But they certainly should not have been administered by the daycare. I can relate to this next story. Once I retired from TV, I have roughly 650 to 750 ties, like neckties that I wear around my neck because that was the only way to stay fashion forward. So I can relate to this next story, Deborah. What can you tell us?
Vanna White recently revealed that she does not get to keep any of the dresses or gowns or outfits she has worn on Wheel of Fortune over the years. Now, she joined the show back in 1982 and said to have worn about 8,000 different combinations. She also revealed that they film about 34 days a year, but they do have to shoot 6 shows a day, meaning many costume changes throughout the day for her. Vanna White makes about $10 million a year, where Ryan Seacrest pulls in about $28 million.
Well, they're both, I'm not going to hate on them, but come on, anyone could do that job. But 8,000 dresses. How big of a closet does Vanna White have for 8? You know what the ironic part is? I've got 600 ties. I don't know where they are right now. I had to go to the funeral last Friday.
Okay.
And I'd wear a suit and tie, and I couldn't find any. I found like 4 of my 700 ties. I don't know where I put them. They're probably in the basement somewhere. I don't know where they are.
Maybe they're covered with all those spiders in the basement.
No, the spiders are gone.
Oh, okay.
Thanks to Breda Pest Management. Take care of those. What was the deadly spider they found, Deborah?
The brown recluse.
The brown recluse. Oh, my God. Shout out to Breda for saving my life and the lives of my wife and my dogs, getting rid of those brown recluse spiders, recluse, whatever. All right, Vanna White, 8,000 dresses. I'm catching up. No, I'm not catching up. I'm done buying ties. I will never buy another tie the rest of my life. When we come back, correspondent Rory O'Neill with the latest on the Department of Education implosion. And we'll see what's going on in the court system. That big Venezuelan deportation flight case being heard right now. All of that next on The Mark Arum Show.
Are you facing a fork in the road and deciding between continuing your career and retirement? I'm Wes Moss, host of Money Matters, and this massive life decision shouldn't be taken lightly. Talk with my team if you'd like help reviewing your retirement accounts and building a financial plan. We can help you review options and offer an opinion based on your best interests. You can find us at yourwealth.com. That's YOUR wealth.com.
Listeners, friends, family, neighbors, heck, even coworkers have asking me about QC Kinetics treatment. Hey, it's Mark Arum. No joke. Coworker the other day asked me about QC Kinetics. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. Well, if you're wondering if you're a good candidate, let's see if you answer yes to any of these questions. First question, is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain? And most importantly, do you miss doing the things you love because joint pain is holding you back? If you answer yes to any of those questions, I bet you're a great candidate with my friends at QC Kinetics. Call QC Kinetics right now. Ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can get you lasting pain relief, no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Call 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026, 770-285-8026.
At Shane Company, we'll help you create a ring as unique as your love story. We have the biggest selection of diamonds in all shapes and sizes, and center stones in an array of colors, including sapphires in blue, pink, green, lavender, and more. Just the other day, a couple picked out a blue sapphire that perfectly matched her eyes, and they left knowing her ring was truly one of a kind. That's what happens at Shane Company. Come check us out. You might just fall in love with something unexpected. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through May 4th, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and Security Edge for $69 a month for 24 months. And ask how to get free installation on qualifying bundles. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment and paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After 24 months, regular rates apply.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION.
Hey, it's Shelley Winter. With the uncertainty of possible tariffs scheduled for April 2nd, Butler Lexus of South Atlanta has your pre-tariff Lexus right now. Visit before April 2nd for guaranteed pre-tariff pricing. Call 800-NEW-LEXUS.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Rocco's European Garage. Traveling in or out of London's Heathrow Airport is not going to happen today. The airport saying it's closed all day because of a fire at an electrical substation. The fire under control now, but it knocked out power to thousands of homes and businesses and is causing major travel disruptions. It's impacting us here in Atlanta, too. The Atlanta-based airline Delta saying they're issuing waivers to passengers who are being impacted by the fire there in London. All right, mostly sunny today and cool, headed for a high of 63 this afternoon, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just a matter of minutes. A 20-year-old man has died after falling from the 19th floor of a building that's under construction in downtown Atlanta. The man was pronounced dead at the scene by medical personnel. His identity has not yet been released. The Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights opens an investigation into accusations of harassment in some Fulton County schools.
The complaint says after the war in Gaza began, bullying against Jewish and Israeli students became routine in some high, middle, even elementary schools in Fulton County.
In one particularly egregious incident, a student asked an Israeli fifth grade student if she was Israeli and then told her she hates Jews, Israelis should all be killed.
Denise Katz-Prober with the Brandeis Center for Human Rights.
They did not stop the harassment from occurring. They didn't ensure that perpetrators were held accountable.
Katz-Prober tells me they're optimistic the investigation will continue despite the Trump administration moving to dismantle the DOE. Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
Well, it was a traffic stop for a hands-free device violation, but it turned into a big drug bust in Clayton County.
A man using his cell phone while driving is pulled over on Forest Parkway in Lake City. The officer notices the smell of marijuana and the driver admits to having less than an ounce. But a probable cause search turns up 32 vacuum-sealed bags of marijuana in the trunk, totaling nearly 9 pounds. The driver now facing numerous drug and traffic charges, as well as possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime, after the search also reveals a handgun under the driver's seat. Police have not revealed the man's name, but he is being held at the Clayton County Jail. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
A mystery this morning, a Korean family of 3 missing near the Grand Canyon.
We have visitors from all over the world that come here. Yeah, it's a little unusual to have 3 go missing at the same time.
The women between the ages of 33 and 59 missing after taking a trip to the Grand Canyon National Park during a dangerous winter storm a week ago. They were last known to be traveling on Interstate 40 from Williams, Arizona to Las Vegas, more than 3 hours away. GPS data from their rental car last indicated that they were traveling west on I-40 near where there was a deadly 20-vehicle accident March 13th just outside of Williams. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is down 230 at 41,722, so the Dow's down more than 0.5%. So is NASDAQ and the S&P. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather brought to you by Fenley Roofing. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
And just found a new crash in DeKalb County, Sabrina, on the Jam Cam. It's in the HOV lane, I-20 eastbound, Columbia Drive, exit 66. That's starting to slow the ride as you leave Candler Road. Once you get past that, you'll see the construction in the right lane, leaving 285 heading out to Wesley Chapel. And it looks like some new trouble. I want to spin the Jam Cam and check on this. It's getting very slow, 85 southbound from 316 passing Pleasant Hill Road in Duluth. We'll see what's blocked there. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Sunny skies today, high 63. That's trending about 5 degrees below average for this afternoon. Lows tonight in the upper 30s to low 40s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high near 70. Sunshine for Sunday, morning low 47, afternoon high 75.
46 degrees in Roswell, and Villa Rica. Monroe has 47 degrees. We'll have more news at noon, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
The morning rush hour, the evening rush hour, and everything in between.
Slow spots are starting to build up the east side perimeter on 285 North.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic
We've
Center.
had several breakdowns, including one in the express lane.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
In a few moments, I will sign an executive order to begin eliminating the Federal Department of Education.
And President Trump did sign that executive order. What impact might we see in Atlanta? We'll update next on the Mark Arum Show.
Our weather is so unpredictable. Dry for days, then we get drenched with rain and storms. Then we go from soaking wet to arid dry, extreme heat to bitter cold, and your roof takes all that abuse. Dave Baker here for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Admit it, you have no idea how your roof is doing, right? It's okay. Let me help. There are signs you can look for. Inside your house, look for wet spots, water streaks, or dripping water on the ceiling, drywall, chimney area, or up in the attic. If that wet spot is now a dry stain, it's still a problem. Outside your home, check your roof for streaks and stains, loss of color or granules in your downspouts, gutters, or scattered on the ground. If you find any of these things, think of Findlay first. They're the perfect match for any roofing issues. They are the extra effort experts that have installed over 65,000 roofs locally. Plus, Findlay offers 0% financing. Get started with a free roof analysis at findlayroofing.com.
Roof. It won't be that long before school gets out. And if you're thinking about buying a new home this summer, now is the time to get the ball rolling. This is Scott Slade. My friends at MyLand always recommend getting pre-approved before starting to shop for your next home. Make sure you know how much you can afford and have your financing ready to make an offer when you find your dream home. MyLand is who I recommend for all home financing needs, whether it's a second mortgage, cash out refinance, or purchase of a new home. They even have a great new product that allows you to qualify for an investment or rental property without personal income documents. Whatever type of mortgage you need, MyLand will close your loan fast without issues and headaches and make sure you have the best rate in town. Call MyLand, 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Online, it's myland.com, spelled it M-I-L-E-N-D. NMLS and Georgia Mortgage Licensee 148769, located at 8995 West Side Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. MyLand is an equal housing lender.
Protect your turf from termites. Call Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters. And Breda is proud to sponsor Scott Slade's Georgia every Thursday on Atlanta's Morning News.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
He packed in the animals 2 by 2.
Ox, a camel, and a kangaroo. 11:36. Oh, I can taste the weekend straight away. Hope you have great weekend plans. Mine, I have a fancy dinner tomorrow night. I'm not going to tell you where, but I'll reveal that on Monday. And then Sunday, I'm going to head up to Truist Park, hang out with some Braves buddies, watch the spring training game. Quick sports note, I haven't mentioned my bracket yet. I got bullied into doing a bracket by our boss, Ken Charles. I picked them in McNeese State upset. So I was briefly in the lead. I was like, ha. And now I'm not that good. Georgia lost, by the way. Sad face for the Georgia Bulldogs. We're going to update the Department of Education in just a second here on the Mark Arum Show. But, Deborah, we have another pair of amazing tickets to give away today, my friend.
Yes, tickets to see Counting Crows at Ameris Amphitheater on July 24th.
July 24th. Let's do the 11th caller to Brianna. Brianna. All right. Longoria said I was mispronouncing it. Shame on you. Brianna.
Did not say that.
Let's do the 11th caller to 404-872-0750 to Brianna. Lovely Brianna. 11th caller, 404-872-0750, wins a pair of tickets to see the Counting Crows, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show at 95.5 WSB. All right, joining us on the show, correspondent Rory O'Neill. Rory, good morning, my friend. A lot of educators, parents, grandparents driving around Metro Atlanta right now, wondering if they are now living in a world without a Department of Education. What can you tell us?
Well, we're not that far down the road yet, but President Trump yesterday signed an executive order to essentially wind down the department. He's trying to shut it down, saying really it's a waste of money and has poor results to show for almost 50 years of investment. So there are some open questions about what you do with student loan programs and programs that help provide money to rural communities, poorer communities, and especially programs that help students with disabilities. Some of that still has to be figured out, but they are on a fast track to trying to wind down this agency. They will need congressional approval, however, in order to completely eliminate it, and that could be tough to get.
Yeah, obviously a big story nationally, but here locally as well. Georgia gets last year got $4.4 billion from the federal government for education, and a lot of that was for programs, as you mentioned, folks, kids with disabilities, low income, rural schools. Do we have any idea yet, any clarity what the impact of shutting down or reducing the size of the Department of Education will mean?
Well, that's the part that's I think Congress is going to have to figure out, because let's face it, there are members of Congress from Georgia who don't want to turn off that $4 billion spigot, right? And they work hard to make sure Georgia gets that money, and they want to get some sort of a system there that still allows that cash to be flowing. But we heard from the president yesterday saying that this has just become an administrative bloated nightmare that really just doesn't serve the students or improve education outcomes, and has a poor track record for helping students. So they're trying to downsize things, but find a way to keep some of those funding mechanisms in place.
Yeah, that's what I need clarity on. I understand wanting to cut the bureaucracy level at the federal level, but still be producing the federal funding that goes to states around the country. But here in Georgia, a majority of the school's funding comes from local and county taxes. So, right. Even if they lose the federal funding, I think we'll still be okay.
A lot of that money will be going for higher education. The Department of Education doesn't really have a whole lot of influence on elementary and secondary schools. A lot of it is in the higher education sector. So that could be where you see some of the impacts versus your local elementary school.
Additionally, Rory, President Trump took to Truth Social this morning, saying he was going to look to prosecute any vandals or terrorists that have targeted Tesla dealerships or cars with jail sentences of up to 20 years. I haven't seen any reports of that here in Metro Atlanta. What exactly is going on with Teslas?
Yeah, we're seeing it all across the country. There are even apps that are encouraging people, or wink, wink, nudge, nudge, encouraging people to strike out at owners of Teslas, giving out their addresses and things like that. But we are seeing significant acts of vandalism. Sometimes it's spray-painted graffiti, other times smashed windows. We've seen many cars set on fire. They're keying the cars, puncturing tires. And by the way, it's not just in the U.S. We're seeing a lot of this happen in Canada as well. I think a dealership in Hamilton, Canada this week had 80 Tesla vehicles keyed or the tires punctured. All of this, of course, because Elon Musk is now much more political than he's ever been, and people are not approving of some of the Doge announcements he's been making.
Wow, crazy. All right, Rory, appreciate your time, my friend. Have a great weekend, buddy.
Thanks, Mark. Take care.
Couple of Musk-related, Tesla-related stories as well. Tesla's main investor, aside from Elon Musk, obviously, is calling for Elon to step down and hopefully ease the vandalism and the protests against Tesla. Again, the Tesla stock has just been in an absolute free fall. Also, if you drive one of those Tesla Cybertrucks, I can't judge what it drives like. I haven't been in one. It doesn't look very sexy, but there's a recall on all of them. Free recall. You bring your stuff back, and they'll replace it for you. So we'll monitor that. Musk, by the way, met with Pete Hegseth at the Department of Defense today. Still trying to find out exactly what that meeting was about. There was leaks coming out that it was about a China war plan, which I can't comprehend why we have a China war plan right now and what Elon Musk would have to do with that China war plan. I mentioned earlier, Longoria, that I'm the first Aram in the 5,000-year history of my family tree to ever eat biscuits. Isn't that crazy?
It is. That
no Arams. My parents maybe had one or two. My grandparents never once ate a biscuit, and now I eat like 3 a week. And my body's like, we're not used to this. I don't imagine there's a lot of things like let's say a Mayflower family, like a couple that came. Picture a Mayflower family. Their descendants came over the Mayflower. They're from England, whatever. Going through, there's a generation of Mayflower family tree that's eating chips and queso for the first time. No one on their family tree. I wonder if they're struggling with that. All right, one more. I guess it's a historical story when it comes to lineage family tree about when humans first started talking to each other. I never really thought about that. When did we start verbalizing communications? What can you tell us on that, Deborah?
What makes humans unique from other animals or mammals is their ability to speak. But when did humans actually start talking? Initial research assumed it was about 100,000 years ago, but new discoveries think it's even farther than that, about 135,000 years ago. They found some engravings and artifacts, did some DNA testing, and realized that all early humans, whether it was Neanderthal or Homo sapien, they had some type of language, but it wasn't until migration happened that distinct languages were actually created.
Interesting. I wonder if you believe in other life in the universe, right? Let's just say, for the sake of argument, there is other life in the universe. If we go to an Earth-like planet 10,000 light years away, I would imagine that everyone on that planet just speaks the same language. Wouldn't that make more sense? Isn't it crazy there's 360 some odd languages that we speak on? I would imagine alien civilizations have advanced to the point where, like, all right, let's just settle on a language, guys. Stop. I bet if there are advanced life forms out there, they all just speak one language. I watched a documentary on Netflix. I'm such a documentary fiend on the Neanderthals. And everything. They found Neanderthal skeletons in Iran, which kind of changed the trajectory of everything. But they mentioned that Neanderthals had certainly speaking ability. So very interesting story there. Hey, congrats to Jordan from Atlanta. He won a pair of tickets to see the Counting Crows, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show on 95.5 WSB. Quick break. When we come back, we're going to update that big breaking news out of Heathrow Airport and the possible travel impact we might feel here in Atlanta. Social media is at Mark Arum, at WSB Radio.
When you need to know.
This story is developing in Atlanta.
When you want to know.
Severe weather is on its way.
When you have to know.
We'll alert you as soon as this closure clears.
Get notifications
from your source for news.
Get the WSB Radio app.
Download it from your app store today.
Listeners, friends, family, neighbors, heck, even coworkers have asking me about QC Kinetics treatment. Hey, it's Mark Arum. No joke. Coworker the other day asked me about QC Kinetics. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. Well, if you're wondering if you're a good candidate, let's see if you answer yes to any of these questions. First question, is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain? And most importantly, do you miss doing the things you love because joint pain is holding you back? If you answer yes to any of those questions, I bet you're a great candidate with my friends at QC Kinetics. Call QC Kinetics right now. Ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can get you lasting pain relief. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Call 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026.
When you need quality professional tree work, choose Heath Tree Service. Hi, I'm Jimmy Heath. My father started Heath Tree Service over 60 years ago, and we're still family owned, certified arborist, and experts with trees. Find us at heathtreeservice.com.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90NATION.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
If you or someone you know suffered any injuries involving a deployed airbag, you could be entitled to compensation. Morgan & Morgan has already recovered millions. Get America's largest injury law firm fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey everyone, it's your buddy Shelly Winter here. Join me this Saturday at noon for the Car Guys with Kevin Deutsch from Butler Lexus of South Atlanta. Buy or lease, fix or sell, everything you want to know about cars, we will cover Saturday noon to 1 right here on 95.5 WSB.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer. With experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. EmoryHealthcare.org/Winship.
Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. I know what's important to you when you're looking for a new deck. You want the work done with quality workmanship, on time, within your budget, and built correctly. Getting a new deck from Ben Hill Renovations checks all the boxes. And when it comes to new decks, pretty much anything you can imagine, Ben Hill can do. And they're all backed by the Ben Hill Workmanship Warranty. Swing by the new Ben Hill Renovations showroom in Douglasville and talk to one of their designers. Or see them on the web at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
Got a leaky pipe? Trouble with your AC? Ace Hardware Home Services is right around the corner with trusted pros to fix it. From plumbing to heating and cooling, we'll keep your home running smoothly all year long. Get help today at acehardwarehomeservices.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or consumercellular.com today. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
11:50 on the Mark Arum Show. Big battle now on 85 South out of Gwinnett County. Live with the latest, Alex Williams.
Yeah, I got a new travel advisory here. Crash leaves only the HOT lane open, 85 southbound, just below Pleasant Hill Road, exit 104. You're already stacked up from Highway 316. Those delays will also spill onto 316 westbound. I would go ahead and think about Satellite Boulevard or Buford Highway to work your way down towards Steve Reynolds or Indian Trail, Beaver Ruin to re-enter 85 South. And we're still dealing with the crash in DeKalb County, 20 eastbound Columbia Drive, exit number 66. That takes out the HOV lane. And we got the construction in the left lane of the I-285 collector distributor ramps that take you I-20 eastbound toward Wesley Chapel Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I was asking ChatGPT, where should I go with one day, from London? I don't know. We'll see. So
It said maybe I should go to Bath, Canterbury. It just gave me.
Go to Stonehenge, kid. Go to Stonehenge. That's an American stuck at Heathrow Airport, updating the big breaking news we've been following all morning long. Disruption at the airport may last up to a week before returning to normal. We are also getting word that the lights are back on inside Heathrow Terminal 4, according to reporters on the ground. Again, right now, minimal impact at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. There are 4 flights daily between Hartsfield-Jackson and Heathrow, about 26 flights a week. 13 flights have been canceled so far, but the airport spokesman that we heard from said minimal delays now, but this could impact international travel. We will provide updates throughout the day on that developing situation here on 95.5 WSB. Another situation we're following is the court case involving that immigration plane heading from the United States to El Salvador with the Venezuelans on flight. President Trump speaking now at the White House. Let's, if we can, Longoria, let's listen in to President Trump taking some questions about that case.
Available later on today. You go over to the offices and you can have it immediately. And you'll make a determination.
And on something else, these Tren de Aragua guys, because of your executive order, they are designated as foreign terrorists.
Yeah.
If ISIS or Al-Qaeda foreign terrorists were operating here in the United States, cops would probably be shooting first and asking questions later. And so what is the difference between terrorists, between somebody like an ISIS or an Al-Qaeda operative versus a MS-13 or Tren de Aragua?
Well, these are people that focus on destroying people in their homes. They're not as international in that sense. They're a group of thugs. They come from Venezuela. They come from the prisons of Venezuela. They're very, very dangerous people, but they didn't look so dangerous when the guards took care of the situation from El Salvador. And I want to thank the president. He's a friend of mine. He's done a great job. But I just can't imagine that the Democrats are taking this issue where they want to have them back. You know, so now they have men playing in women's sports. They have transgender for everyone. They have open borders. They have all of their crazy policies that are, I think, 95-5, not 90-10, okay? And their new policy is, let's bring Tren de Aragua back into our country. Let's bring the worst. These are the worst gang members there are. They looked amazingly frail, though, by the way they were handled. It's very amazing. You know, they weren't, when they were in Colorado cutting the fingers off a man because he made a phone call to the police, they seemed a lot tougher then than they did when they were having their head shaved.
All right, there's President Trump monitoring. We have not yet heard from the courts. Court was in session at 10 a.m. If we get any update on that, what the judge has to say about that Venezuelan deportation plane, we'll bring it to you live. This is crazy, since we're doing international stories. In Nigeria, scorpion farms are springing up. You heard me right, scorpion farms. Vicky Barker has more from London.
Trust me, this is one story you'd rather hear, not see. Because what you'd be seeing right now is lab workers wearing kitchen gloves handling shiny black scorpions, pulling them out of tubs full of writhing, glittering piles of the arachnids, then massaging their long, lethal tails to extract the venom into test tubes, drop after tiny drop. A gallon of scorpion venom's worth about $10 million. It's used in everything from medicines to beauty products, but thousands of scorpions have to be milked to produce even half an ounce. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
Did you know you could milk a scorpion, Longoria?
I did not know that, no.
Can you milk me, Barker? Yeah. Another reason, scorpions, which is why there's scorpions in the Grand Canyon. I'm just not going there. It's just not going to happen.
Longoria's Fact of the Day.
All right, today is National French Bread Day. There's many theories on why and how it was made. One theory suggests that Napoleon Bonaparte ordered long, thin bread for his troops' pockets, and that's why it was made.
Not because he had small hands, because he's such a tiny guy.
Yeah.
All right, so it's National French Bread Day.
Yep.
Thumbs up or thumbs down on French bread pizza?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that was a staple in the Aram household. When
Really?
my parents were going out, if we didn't have a Hungry Man dinner in the metal tray, it was the frozen French bread pizzas.
Yeah, like a good friend. Yeah.
The problem is, this is before microwaves, kids. You know, back in the caveman days.
Yeah, we had to put it in
You'd
the
put it in
oven.
the oven, and it would come out just scorching hot. Scorching hot. Anyway, all right. I like a good French bread pizza. I probably haven't had one in 20 years. Alex, you're Alex Williams in the traffic center. He doesn't know many foods, but you know about French bread pizzas. Are those still a thing? Can you get them in the freezer aisle?
Yeah, you can still get them. Stouffer's makes them.
There you go. Did Alex just win star of the show, being our frozen food correspondent?
And now, are you guys ready for the Mark Arum star of the show?
Absolutely. Good job, Alex. I thought we could squeeze in an addition of, does Alex Williams know this food? But then the boss showed up again. Next time the boss is off, we'll squeeze in one of those. All right, Alex gets a star of the show. Brianna gets a star of the show. Great job filling in and screening the calls. Let's see. We had Stephen Lawson, political analyst, joining us live in studio. Great insight on the tort reform going on underneath the Gold Dome. He gets a star of the show. Actor Paul Guilfoyle from CSI, he gets a star of the show. Really love his work. He's been in so many amazing things. Stephen Portnoy from ABC joined us with the latest on the Venezuelan situation in the courts. He gets a star of the show. Rory O'Neill, talking about the dismantling of the Department of Education. Correspondent Rory O'Neill gets a star of the show. And Brad Gibson in London, he gets a star of the show. He joined us live on the breaking news there with Heathrow Airport still shut down. I'm trying to think if I am missing anyone on the guests. I think we got... Oh, I brought in donuts on Donut Friday. I'm getting a star of the show. And Longoria and Deborah. You guys are fun. I couldn't do without you. All right, so a lot of big stories we are still going to follow throughout the day here on 95.5 WSB. And make sure you check in throughout the weekend because news can pop at any moment. I will be active on social media. Go ahead and give me a follow at Mark Arum, MarkArum. Stay safe. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend, Atlanta.
Said he's going